Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Here we are. Oh, look at those smiling faces. At the finale somehow, finally, of our 4-game Spire test drive.
It was
It's been
only a
4.
week in
It's
game
only
time,
been
right?
4, you know?
Yeah,
It's only been a week in game time, so.
Uh-huh.
Or like 6 days or something. It
yeah.
was a quick, short game.
It's a nice, short, contained, small campaign.
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome to the Kelsey, your poems.
All right,
are just-
can I just read that on
Yeah,
stream,
please,
please?
go
Okay,
ahead.
thank
Oh,
you.
yes.
I'm going to keep this simple and sweet. The first season arc is almost complete. Through situations good and dire, I may shed a tear. I'm a bit of a crier. Thank you, Spire crew, for all that you do. It's an honor to say I see and hear you. We love you, Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Oh.
Also,
And happy birthday!
Oh my
Hey, happy
gosh.
birthday!
Happy birthday!
Yes. And happy belated to our very own Tyler, who's above me. Hey.
Yay! Happy birthday!
And also happy birthday to Lena,
Yes, Angelina, who shares birthday with our
who's not here yet, but
And Tyler's twin.
oh, I know.
there's just so many.
Brother or
Just
something.
throw them in there. Just keep them coming.
I also know someone else.
Okay, good. Yeah, shout them out. Go ahead. No, I'm
Yeah, shout out. I don't remember their name actually. They're on a cooking server. I think their name's
Okay.
Amber or something.
Hey, Amber from the cooking server. Happy birthday.
Hey.
All right. And yes, so let's do our thing. Let's get going. Let's have a little finale. So Ava's gonna kick things off as she do.
Yeah. So it's been a long time. We still have the Breonna Taylor cover screen. Just an update. We're still waiting on the court case to continue going forward. They released some of the grand jury records and some of the recordings from the grand jury, but it's one of those things that's just going to take time as we wait for the case. Hopefully we can find some justice by pursuing this further and proving that the judge did not give a fair and impartial grand jury a chance by not allowing them to basically convict them of manslaughter or any of the charges that we were asking for. Didn't even come to the table, so the jury couldn't even rule on it. So I know it's absolutely ridiculous, but here we are after 6 days of Spire time, like 7 years of in-game time, and we still somehow
out of game time. In-game time was 6 days.
Yeah, 6 days in-game time, 7 bajillion years out of game time,
there you
and
go.
we somehow still can't say that somebody who broke into an apartment, shot an innocent person, has been tried properly. So, keep looking at the news and hoping and waiting for those cases to go forward. And yeah, say her name.
Thank you, Ava. Yes, and with that, hopefully all of you are taking good care of yourselves, hydrating, taking a few hours off work here and there to take naps. Lots of important. I'm proud of all of you. Have water to show me. Here's mine. My GDQ bottle. And just self-care in these trying times as we try to do better in 2020. Let's get stress levels. Rick, you are oh wait, before we do stress levels,
we have to refresh.
we have to refresh because you did in fact eliminate a enemy of the ministry. So I'm going to roll a d8, and I am very hopeful for all of you that it's not a 1 or a 2, because that feels bad to me. Hey, it's a 6. All of you can remove 6 stress from your characters. So let me put it this way. Who has stress still?
Not me.
I don't even have resistances anymore. Like I'm just fully clean slate.
Hennis, what stress do you have now?
I now have 0, and all my resistances are open.
Oh, good. Excellent. Barnabas or Kelvy, where are you at?
I still have 3 stress.
Bless. Where?
2 to mind, 1 to reputation.
Thank you. Anybody else with stress? Rick went from 11 to 0 so fast. Well,
It's
so fast.
amazing what happens when you
When
die.
you die,
All the stress just goes away.
you come back really refreshed, really ready to face the world with a new burning vengeance in your heart. All right, so I don't even have to go through. Does anyone want to report on personal stress levels, since normally you have an individual time to like talk about your stress? Anybody need to like just say something right now before we?
So much. Bazillion.
That'll
I'm
be a
waiting.
few severe fallouts right there, I think.
Yeah.
I know. I'm waiting
Hey,
for
wait,
my
here's
new
the dog
job to
because
come
I
in.
was told. Hey, wait, no, okay, she's gone already.
Rika.
Gone already. She decided. Oh,
Hank is right by my feet.
so she loves Sarah's. Sarah is staying here, right? For those of you who know who she is, and there. So she has the little like bed made up in the living room.
Yeah.
And the dog is like, "This is my bed." So that's what she's doing.
Aw.
He's getting cozy in Sarah's bed. And yeah, Sarah, I know you're listening. If you would like to come save your bed from the dog. Okay.
I'm
good. Okay. So Kelvy, we have to roll for your thing. We're at a +3.
Yes, we are.
Face there.
Yeah, that checks out.
Bless.
What number of bug is this?
This is 7 out of 9, I believe.
What?
7 of
It
9.
sure is.
No,
You're gonna be both
Yay.
bug.
Sure
No.
is. We are.
we're going.
Reaching the top of that mountain.
Okay. Go ahead and roll us that D10.
Sure. I'd like to say I'd be happy to, but no. We
8.
got
8.
8.
When you and another Vis carrier interact against, do you have this one as one?
I don't think
How do
so.
you roll
No.
so well? You never have gotten a repeat, I think, on your first try. Okay, when you and another Vis carrier interact against a third party, you do so with eerie precision. Once per situation, you can roll with mastery on any check so long as you're assisted by a fellow carrier.
That's a good
Motivation.
one.
All right,
You don't
guys.
have weird carapace
Who wants
or
to,
Good motivation
who
to start
wants to
infecting
join
people.
me?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, hey guys. Doctor's in.
And we took advances. So, well, I was gonna start with Rachel because you're at the top of my screen. We'll start with Andrew so that you have a chance to choose.
Okay.
What advance did Hennis take?
So if I recall correctly, we got a high advance, but I instead took a medium advance and a resistance. So the medium advance that I took was the Saint of Binding, where your rope animates as if of its own accord, tripping your enemies. It becomes a weapon with the following stats: damage D3 and stunning. So my
Nice.
god rope finally does something, which is nice.
Excellent.
And
nice.
given some previous story things that have happened, where did that go? I took the skill, right. I took the skill resist.
Awesome. Okay.
Is it my turn now?
Sure. Go ahead.
Oh, I did. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's perfect.
I took the high advance taste life. Dead. It's a divine one. Dead flesh contains many secrets, and you could unlock them in concert with your god. I gain. Okay. I gain +2 to blood, And when I eat the flesh of a recently dead creature, Charnel sends me visions regarding their life. I can learn their identity, how they died, and their recent actions up to the moment of their death. In addition, I gain a permanent access to one domain that they possessed when they were alive.
Permanent access.
Damn.
Yep.
Oh shit.
Permanent access
Permanent?
to a domain. Yeah, permanent. And
So
now
you
my
could-
resistance to blood is +4. So
Damn, eat all these guards.
I'm gonna eat the fucking magic bitch.
Oh, eat the magic bitch. Yeah, go crazy.
I am eating a guard right now,
Yeah,
but do they have domains? No, I probably a thing I have to do.
I mean, they
right? It's
probably
like
have
a-
high society if they work for Lord Faisal.
And this isn't like a once per session, so I could just go around and be like, a chomp, a chomp. I won't.
And you
I know
would
that
literally have
totally
every
gaming the
domain
system.
so fast,
Do it.
right? Like,
Get
I
every
would
domain.
if
absolutely.
you just start eating people left and right,
Yeah.
like eventually
Give
you'll
me
have
all the fucking domains. Like
No.
academia, yes. High society,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Have a little
Barnabas.
bit of my pinky.
Technology,
and high
yeah.
society
Barnabas
just-
knows all about computers.
But he's like
Alright.
80. He's like the boomer that learned about it like way too late.
My grandson taught me.
Yeah.
You ate your grandson?
Grandpa. I heard grandpa.
No, my grandson.
Oh, your grandson.
Grandson.
Oh, okay.
I'm an old man. My grandson taught
Tell us
me
about
how to
your
use
children that we
the
never knew
emails.
about.
They're all goats.
They're all goats and hyenas.
And
Yeah.
they're all named Steve.
So a goat grandchild taught you.
I mean, they have hands.
This
Yeah,
is true.
they have
use
hands.
tools.
They can type.
Why not?
They
I
can
went
use
up there to
tools.
visit the new heaven, and the goat was like, "Bat," and it showed me its email.
It's
What's
true.
a tool but a computer, right?
Yeah.
That's a tool.
What's a
If it gets
what's a
it.
computer but a tool? Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Okay, Tyler, what advance did you take?
Sure. So instead of taking a medium advance and a skill, Kelvy took a low advance from a different class and a skill. So we took Fight the Power, which
Kelvy's a
give-
plural now, huh?
yep. We gain the resist skill. Then when you engage in violence against an enemy who is part of the order domain, you do so with mastery. And then for my skill, I went ahead and I took resist, which gave me mastery. And we are going to be masters of resisting Vis's influence. We hope.
It's
Very
perfect.
nice. All right, Ava.
Hi. Sorry, I got tangled in my headphones there. I thought that Minrai could do with a nice multi-class. So to me, Minrai is this arc has seen her move away from being a midwife and more towards being a firebrand, which is like the revolutionary, like fuck the high elves, dark elf power. So I gave her a skill called Scapegoat because she's been planning a lot of stuff for this last thing, and she's been real worried about us getting exposed and stuff. So it says your ability to shift blame is legendary, +1 shadow. Once per session, when an NPC accuses you of wrongdoing, you can automatically convince them that you're entirely innocent and that someone else of your choosing is responsible. So I think that aligns with like her position as both trying to be a midwife in the community and wanting to be a revolutionary. She's got to be able to play that middle ground and do it like planning wise and stuff. So to me, that's like up her alley very much. So yeah.
Love it. Thank you. All right, and then I think we're not getting to know what Rick's advance was. Is that correct, Sam?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then.
It's gonna be like betrayal. You're gonna like stab us.
Okay. So let's now get started. We are still at Harmonious Properties. We have. I need to minimize this on this other screen. Okay. Okay, so we are here. We left off with Rick dying and coming back to life. We left off with this guard properly intimidated by Barnabas and Sweet Pea eating his dead guard friend. And Faisal, having been fully converted, we do need to roll stress for Faisal from the conversion process, which I think is a D6.
Yeah, he rolls a D6 stress to mind.
Okay,
He could die.
Yes, this could kill him.
Yay.
It will not,
hey.
because he
Nice.
only took 1 stress to mind.
Would have been wild if I had rolled that one.
I don't think it could have killed him either because this is a new session. So I could have eaten up his stress.
Good.
That's what everybody wants you to do. Use that ability to save Faisal's life right now.
But he's been converted.
We love Farquaad, it's true.
All right. So that, I think, let me set a scene here too. For those of you who are where is Rick at this moment? Where did he go?
I am on top of Farquaad.
All right. Let's get
She
you.
said it. She said it.
Oh! The last session.
I said it as like I was laughing at you, like it was like that repeating. I know it doesn't matter, but it was so funny because like I was just like, you said it and I like just like, because I was like laughing along like Farquaad, ha ha ha, and then I was like, fuck. Someone's gonna
notice it first, and then you
Farquaad forever.
I
you
feel
have
like
to change his name in the thingy now.
I feel like that's
no.
that's like not canon. That's not a canon mistake. I wasn't talking about the character and said the wrong name. Look at Sam's face. Far be it from me to renege on my promises. Here we go.
Chelsea's yelling at you that it still happened.
Okay.
And Heather agrees.
Here you go.
Yay!
Yeah! Just because I love you. Okay. Happy birthday, Chelsea. It's Farquaad now. All right. Well, if this is my life, then Farquaad has been so you see like the process of all of this, because Rick is the one who did the conversion, right?
Yeah.
So Barnabas is out in the hallway eating people. Minrai is out dragging this guard in, and inside this room we have Rick standing in front of Farquaad. I'm gonna keep saying Faisal because it's so ingrained in me to like not say. But yeah, so we have Rick standing in front of Faisal doing this like very intense thing. There's this intense blaze of white kind of silver moonlight from Rick's jewels, and then both Farquaad and Rick just kind of collapse. And Kelvy and Hennis being like right there, you guys react however you want. How would you react? Like both of them just kind of collapse in front of you.
Well, I'm not rushing over to Farquaad, that's for sure.
All right. So do you rush over to Rick though?
I mean, yeah, I'm going to check if my friend is alive.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, so you run over and kind of go through the standard, like, checking if your friend is alive, like, look for a pulse, look for breath. And behind you, Faisal immediately kind of starts stirring. Like, his collapse was a kind of brief one, and he's kind of mumbling, and like his head clearly hurts, and he's just kind of like saying unintelligible under his breath kind of things at this point. Meanwhile, you are looking at the very still, very unbreathing form of your friend Ulrich Muir. Anything Kelvy would be doing?
Kelvy's gonna keep Bone Spur on Faisal in case he tries anything.
Mm-hmm.
He is still
trying not taking any chances. I'm also trying to keep my distance from Rick and Hennis because I have been bleeding a lot.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I had 7 blood stress before we had the refresh. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot
Okay.
of trying to not infect anyone.
All right. Hennis, yeah, your friend is apparently dead in your arms.
Hennis recognizes the irony of being so familiar with dead people and also not having any idea what to do right now. But he is going to kind of frantically yell out towards the door, kind of half turn his body. Minchai, Minchai, can anyone, Kelvy? Does,
What's up, Hannes?
Minrai is gonna throw the body of one of the guards onto like a pile, kind of like a body pile, and just put a hand on Barnabas' shoulder and be like, "You have plenty of food tonight. I must go check on what is happening." And then I'll step into the room.
he's not, I don't know, there's no,
Let me take a look. Let me take a look. And I'll kneel down next to him, and I mean, he looks like dead to me, like dead.
Yeah, he looks dead to you.
There is not much that I can do to bring back the dead friend.
Both Hennis and Minrai, give me just a luck roll, a D10 luck.
Dokies. I'm great at these.
Both of you got a 6?
Both 6s. Okay. You as you're kind of talking to each other, and Hennis is kind of giving you this panicked account of what happened, and Minrai, you're kind of like, there's nothing that can be done at this point. Rick, you take your first reborn breath, and
Well then, friend, you are not dead. That's great. I'll lean down and kind of like rub Rick's back and like sit him up and be like, take a moment. I thought you were gone. That was quite a miracle that you're alive.
As you lean down, I'm going to stumble backwards.
Minrai is surprisingly chill with the fact that her friend almost died, I think.
What just happened?
Well then, how to say this? Is there water, Hennis? I believe our friend can use a cup of water.
I'm going to hand you my bottle.
God damn it.
Thank you. I'll hand it to Hennis, or to Rick, sorry. And I'll be like, I believe, friend, that you had quite a close encounter with death. But here you are, alive. It is a good day to be you, no?
If I'm parched, I'm just drinking everything I can get from this bottle.
This is
Tell
alcohol,
us a
right?
crime.
Tell me
Tell
about
us a
that you
crime.
committed.
Tell us a crime.
Mm-hmm.
It says I can't turn it off.
Crime not available.
For some reason, I'm feeling compelled to mention that I cheated on my taxes one year.
Well, that is an experience close with death will leave you like that sometimes. It is better to be done with these truths, yes?
Dennis grabs the bottle from your hand.
There, you feel better now, yeah? And I'll give you like a big ass slap on the back, and I'll be like, there you go. Get the blood of life flowing through you.
I look down, and Elise, are my gems still crimson like they were?
Yes, they are in fact crimson.
Okay, I tuck them inside of my coat, or
Okay.
instead of my robes. Minrai, was it successful?
Yes, well, I suppose that we still have to check. Take a moment to breathe, friend. And I'll lean down next to Kelvy and Farquad, and I will grab Farquad by his face with my claws, and I'll like turn his face into mine, and I'll be like, "Open your eyes, Farquad." And I'll look at Kelvy and I'm like, "Keep the tacker on him, please." And
Yeah.
I'll say, "What do you value most?" And I'll use my little protector's eye to see what he wishes to protect above all costs.
Okay. As you ask him this, you see he does make eye contact with you. He has been unmasked, and his face is pale, paler perhaps than it should be. Like, you don't see high elves' faces very often, so the pale skin looks very strange to you in general, because drow have kind of gray and purple, like dark complexions, whereas his skin is like this kind of weird whitish, creamish color. But it looks unhealthily white right now to you, and he does make eye contact with you, and instead of seeing any of the usual kind of contempt and that you've made out even behind the mask, from like the smirk on his mouth, or his mannerisms, his posture, his hand gestures, you see just kind of a stunned, kind of dazed look in his eyes, and he's just muttering words, and you see into his mind, and you see this, you see the face of of the hidden mistress, in his mind. As you look into it, you see him kind of obsessively thinking about ways to protect her interests, which are those of the drow, right? The interests of the drow.
Yeah. I'll for a moment I'll like hold and look like just a little longer than I have to his face. And I'll dig my nails in just a little bit to like draw just a little bit of blood while I look at him, and then I'll release him and I'll go, "It seems that we have succeeded, friends. Wonderful job. You can untie him, Kelvy. He is ours now." And I will step away.
I think I'll let Hennis do it.
Just you guys can continue, but I'm going to be doing something with the guards, I think, while this is going on. Just wanted to say that. So
Making
Can
like
I
a guard
actually-
body, a meat pyramid.
I think only one of them is
Only
dead.
one guard died, yeah.
You can kill him.
I'm actually going to just walk quietly out the door to Barnabas. Is that all that is left of them, or do I need to take care of anyone?
There's I wipe my mouth a little bit. There's one in that room over there, and I point to this one.
Mhm.
And then there's that one cowering by the door that couldn't get out because I barred it.
Do you have a preference?
Question.
Yes.
Rachel is having difficulty with just straight up killing somebody who put their weapons down and begged for their life. Is that something that Barnabas would be like totally chill with? Is that like I mean, I know that's also my decision to make, but I didn't know if it was like because often like we care for the dead, right? Like it's not like we're like, I'm gonna fucking kill you,
Yeah.
you know.
So yeah, I think this is, I mean, it's up to you. Like, you can pick how Barnabas would kind of react in this situation. I think the
one that he killed is the one that attacked Sweet Pea, or
yes, because you went,
okay.
yeah, you went all up in that guard's business, on purpose. But I would say, like, the guidance that I would offer on like thinking through this reaction is that as ministers, as people who belong to the ministry of our hidden mistress, you have in the past and will again opt into morally gray shitty things that you've done on behalf of
Fair.
that. And so
I need to remember also the ministry part and not just the Charnel part, you know. Okay, so
Yeah.
I think what I would do is I would just whistle, which I can't do. Like there, I did it. To get Sweet Pea's attention. And I would look this guard over here in the eyes, and I would say, I'm sorry, you chose the wrong side. And just sick Sweet Pea on him.
Okay. Yeah, I have to get this guard's stats out of the trash because I didn't expect you to attack him, to be honest. Okay. So yeah, he is unarmed and
Can we coup de grace them if they've like surrendered at this point? Like just one shot?
yeah. And you know, I think
Yeah, he put his weapons down and everything too, right?
Yes.
So not that it just means I could kill them, but
yeah, I mean it still takes like some effort to, you know, to kill people, but
not for Sweet Pea.
not for Hennes, just saying. So
Well, Hennis is going after this one.
Yeah.
is he?
Oh, well,
Yes,
he
I'm going
said you have
after
a
the other one.
preference. So I assumed whichever one I went after, he would go after the other one. I figured was how
Yes.
that played out because he said, do you have a preference? So
I see. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I thought it was a preference on if they lived or died, not which one Hennes
Oh
killed.
no, I,
Oh, no.
I,
Yeah.
I assumed he meant, do you have a preference on which one
Which
we
one
fucking
yes.
kill?
Yes.
You know, you
Yeah.
want that one, I'll take this one kind of
Peace
thing.
was never an option.
All right. I guess I'm not going to make you roll for killing these guys who are basically completely surrendered to you, unarmed.
Yeah.
So we'll say, with
Sweet Pea doesn't have any morals, so she's fine with, you know.
with no real trouble at all. Sweet Pea and Hennis and Barnabas dispose of the last two guards, leaving the only people alive in here, yourselves and Faisal.
Can I would like to imagine that I like kind of crawl over to the body of the dead human. Were they a human?
Did anyone ever take off their face
Yeah,
coverings?
you told us that they would have been she her.
Yeah,
If we had actually gotten to that
but
point.
you had never gotten to that point, right? Because we were like resolving yeah. No, the face coverings of this person are still on, so you actually don't know.
Okay. For some reason I thought she was a human. Yeah, I want to like investigate her body, see if she has anything like, is the magic that was causing her body to be illusory still in effect?
No, that was dispelled and did damage on its being dispelled. I believe some people took some ambient damage from it. So that damage, yeah, that spell was dispelled upon her death. So you actually can like, I think you were the only one who rolled well enough to kind of see her in the first place.
Yeah.
And now that magic is gone, you get a much better kind of like read on her. So her, she is wearing some face coverings. It's almost like it's been wrapped. Her face has been wrapped. Her hair is cut very short. And her clothing is just kind of like loose without being baggy, tight in the sense that it doesn't have any like flowingness, right? So like, does that make sense? Like athletic almost wear. That is just one kind of drab, dark, grayish brown. Oh, thank you so much. Did you also bring me dairy pills? Yeah, sorry, lactose intolerant over here. Yes, and
Lactate, heck yeah.
let's do it for the whole internet to see. Thank you. So this looks amazing. We got pizza, y'all.
Oh. Was that Sarah?
That was Sarah. She dropped off pizza for me and then snuck into the bedroom. So, okay. Oh yeah, so you can see she's had this kind of wrapping. She has similar wrapping, this kind of loose-ish like ribbon or cloth wrappings around her hands. And if you kind of pull up on her, I would say like her pants are almost like joggers. They taper at the bottom and are kind of, so you like tug them up a little and you can see around her feet, going into her shoes as well. She has these kind of loose cloth wrappings around her limbs and her face.
Okay. Does she have anything that I would be able to discern as magical? Do I have to roll for this? Okay.
Yes, you will have to roll investigate and occult.
I guess since I have successfully neutralized Faisal, I no longer have a cult. Okay. Well, I have investigate. Can someone help? Is anyone in here?
I am planning on coming over to her body. So if you can say that, like, while Sweet Pea is eating the guard, I'm heading over and can help, because I was going to do my new chomp chomp skill on her.
Do you have a cult?
Sorry, Elise.
No, it's okay. My bad.
I mean, I could once I eat her if she had it. I don't have no, I don't have a cult, and I don't have. I do have investigate, so I can help.
Have investigate.
Yeah, but
then
you
no.
could grant mastery on the investigate, so it would still be 4d10
Yeah.
or an extra d10 from that.
If you want it, I'm here.
All right, let's go. So I'm rolling 3d10, and you're getting a cult.
Well, no, I don't know yet. I'm going to eat her. While you're doing this, I'm just gonna, because in game, I'm just gonna, wander in and kind of slap you on the back and be like, "Hey, how's it going? It looks like everything's taken care of, huh?" Like, I have no idea what the fuck happened in there at all. So I'm just super
I think
"Eh."
you slap Rick on the back, and he just keels right over.
Dead again. You killed him.
The help on the investigate is like you faceplant into a magical object.
There you go.
Well, let's see. Do I?
Oh,
Hey!
Yeah, you do. Okay.
Nice.
So, thank you for bearing with me as I eat my dinner. As you're kind of investigating her body, and Barnabas is kind of standing there like, "Oh, what's that? What do you see that?" Just kind of pointing things out to kind of guide where you're looking.
Look at that weird thing, huh, friend?
You do find on kind of tucked into like in her waistband kind of area, something that like definitely makes you think this is a magical item of some sort. It's a small glass orb. It is probably 2 inches in diameter. It's kind of a bluish color, but clear, and has inside of it, as you're kind of looking at it, and the reason you think it's a cult is as you kind of stare into it, you start to feel like you're seeing through it into something else. And that's where you kind of like get the feeling like this is clearly an occult object. As you continue to kind of search her body, you unwrap her face and find that her features they have been modified such that, like surgically modified, such that it is, even with her wrappings taken off, it's almost like she has no face. Her nose has been flattened. Her eye line is like there's no cheekbones to speak of. No eyebrows. The mouth is. She a Voldemort? I guess. I mean, I didn't really think about it that way, but
Sorry.
If you want to put it in turfy terms, her lips are like the same color as her skin. which sits somewhere directly kind of in the middle between what you would call a drow complexion and a human complexion. And that's unclear from her features due to like their heavy modification, what race she is.
I would assume that like I've never seen anything modified quite like this before.
No, this is a pretty unique kind of modification. That, I mean, like, there's a lot of high elves who do body modification both for themselves and non-consensually or pseudo-consensually with their servants, drow servants, and possibly human servants. But this particular style of it is not something that you can say you've seen, nor the clothing, nor the occult object that you found on her body. All very odd and very specific. It strikes you as like something about this business is like all of it put together for you. And I'll say this is like the kind of like bonus for the natural 10, the critical success, is that like all of that put together for you makes you think like, this looks like an acolyte or a disciple of some sort of organization that is occult in focus. Like she was clearly some kind of magic user, mage, whatever, who was dispensed to be Faisal's, to work with Faisal for reasons unknown.
Can I take a chomp chomp?
Yeah, take a chomp.
That's the name of my skill.
A chomp chomp.
Take a chomp chomp.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll just like see you kind of looking around her and be like, I'm just gonna do something real quick. It's not weird. Well, and I'll shrug and then take a bite anyway. Just kind of like a hand, just like a little bit near the wrist.
Okay. First roll resist.
Fuck. Wait, did my talisman,
you use it?
I thought it in my head to use it. Doesn't that count?
That's not good enough, you hungry cannibal.
Oh no, I legit thought it in my head. I was like, wait, I have this thing.
Yes, which has a very specific instruction that you must hold it aloft and intentionally use it.
I don't have resist.
It's unlucky.
Sure is. Is that just one? Or do I get a domain?
It's just
Am I gonna get disinfected? My god's gonna reject me.
You're eating it though. You're not like.
Oh, critical success resist.
It's actually a golf
and
roll.
No, eating vis still infects you for sure. So, shut up, Ava. What a dumb. In my head, literally, as this started, I was like, "Don't forget you have that talisman." And I completely forgot.
So funny. As Barnabas takes this bite of this flesh, Kelvy, like something kind of tingles down your spine, and you like look over and like you feel this like hope, this like big burst of hope in your chest. And Barnabas, I think what happens is you do swallow this food. You don't become infected. But because you are eating with the with the intent of using this talk or see the dead or whatever, you feel Charnel's sudden surge of presence in your body, burning out the infection. And you're familiar with your god in such a way that you feel like you've just disappointed your dad.
Oh no! I'm sorry, Dad God.
Minrai is going to watch you eat the food, and then once you're like once you've gotten like a lot of it down, I think she would be like, "You are not worried about the blood. That is great. You are very brave."
Or stupid.
You have vile, old man.
Yeah, no, this was definitely infected.
Okay,
Perhaps the years have
So now that you've eaten it, remind me, the high advance allows you to see their kind of recent past and
It says so I get to gain one of their domains. What domains they got?
Okay. They have academia. They have high society. They have occult. They have religion.
I don't have academia, high society, or occult.
Good
I
person's
feel
flesh
like
to eat, despite the fact that you almost just joined Kelby on the
but
third
I
chain.
cannot fucking believe how stupid. And I've been so careful this whole fucking campaign. Every time I've been like, "Can I check the body?
What a
Can I
plot
know?"
twist that
this?
would have been.
Oh my
Right,
god!
right on
I
the
can't
last
believe I
scene, it's
finally
like, guess I
fucking
gotta
forgot
clean up all
when it
these
was somebody who had it, and I rolled a crit success. Jesus. Okay. I feel like Barnabas knows about, because I'm assuming, I can't remember, it's been a long time. I'm assuming Minrai shared what she learned about sealing the cracks for good and things, and the
Yeah.
occult nature of it. So I feel like he would take occult because he knows that he needs to help with that mission, whatever it may be, and isn't ready to be comfortable in high society or among academics. So I will take occult.
Okay.
Oh
You can take
yeah,
occult.
permanent domain.
And the rest of it,
Yeah.
what else do you
Yes.
get?
You can learn their identity, how they died, which I know, and their recent actions up to the moment of their death. So I get to know who they are, like who they actually are, and then recent actions. I don't know if that's like the last day or if it's, I don't know. You can decide. It's vague enough.
Mhm. I'm so proud of us, y'all.
I'm so fucking disappointed in myself. I have worked so
No.
hard to get to
Oh,
this
my.
fucking moment,
Lower next
and I
time.
goddamn blew it. Poor
Okay.
Kelby was so excited, and
So you find out that this person's name is in fact Rochelle, as she was called by Faisal. And you add a last name, which is Aranyel, Aranyel. What's interesting about the last name Aranyel, as you kind of like learn their identity, I think Barnabas, there's no fucking way Barnabas knows this, because Barnabas does not follow high elf politics. However,
nope.
because you learn their identity, I think this is a key kind of element of their identity. You learn that Aranyel is a surname, a very old type of high elf surname, that is not typical anymore. Most people have things like Wades and Moonlight and, like these, types of last names. But it's related obviously to the last name of a councilwoman who is one of there's a presiding council of high elves who sit on essentially they're like the oligarchy. They run the high elf government. And this person's last name, Rochelle Aranyel. Aranyel is the same half of this councilwoman's last name, which is Faye Aranyel. And that seems like a family connection. That this Rochelle Aranyel is in some way a family connection to one of the high elves who sits on the council of Amaranth. In addition to that, I think in their identity, kind of like finding out their identity, you find out that, well, let's put it this way. In about the last day and a half is kind of the span that you're getting. You see Rochelle at something that looks kind of like a monastery. And you see a lot of people around her who look like her. And when I say a lot, I'm thinking you see maybe 15 total during the course of this vision. So, people wearing similar clothes, people with their faces wrapped. You see a couple people go by with their faces unwrapped who have a very similar type of destroyed face via body modifications. And everybody seems relatively, like pleasant. They're nodding to each other. There are people, it's almost like students sitting on the quad, like having lunch together. And you see Rochelle approached by someone with their face wrapped, someone wearing more academic looking robes rather than more like fighter looking robes or clothing like she wears, and this person approaches her, and you hear them tell her that she has an assignment, that she's going out, and you watch her go from this monastery, which is in like kind of upper middle Spire, to Amaranth, where she meets with Faisal, who explains that he has suspicions about your group. He has worries that he might need arcane or occult protections, and that she is to accompany him for the meeting with Kelvy and Orin Wades in Moonlight, which he doesn't know when it'll happen. She inquires, well, when are, if my services aren't free, if you don't know when it's going to happen, like, are you sure? And he just kind of laughs that off and seems to, oh, money is no object, essentially, that he can keep her on retainer for the foreseeable future into that. At which point, there's kind of this weird stuttering thing where like he decides, you know what, I think we need to go to Harmonious Properties and head this off, which Barnabas, you piece together, is Minrai's spell coming into effect, as he kind of feels the compulsion to interact with Kelvy. He's like, I bet we can catch Kelvy at, and so she goes with him and he gathers guards. They come down and she waits, hidden kind of in the shadows until she's called to enter. And that's, then you see the rest very familiar. She finds Rick's spell. You notice from the vision that she uses the blue orb under her clothes. Again, not expecting anybody to be able to focus on her enough to see this. So none of you noticed it because she has this thing that's making people not see her properly. She uses that to identify the presence of magic. You don't think that's the only thing it's used for, but based on how she kind of uses it. But she is able to see, literally see the kind of shimmering white of Rick's protective spell. And then the rest,
I feel like Barnabas would just turn to Rick, who's standing next to him, and just start relaying all of this, but in like ramble old man speech. So just like, her name is Rochelle Arnyell, and I saw her at this monastery, and there was a lot of other people around who also had weird faces like her, but they weren't really doing anything. They were kind of just sitting around, like young people do these days. It just kind of like
I would like
going on like
to
that.
interject really quick because this is an important
Yeah.
detail I totally forgot to tell you. You see, like in that kind of like quad, like whatever, you see people doing things that remind you of Kelvy. You see some, like, in kind of a kiddish way, like one of the people who is eating lunch with like a friend kind of like pulls out their bone spurs. You watch as like one group of like one little group of people within the group, they're just having a normal conversation, and then someone reaches over and grabs someone else's wrist, and then like it's like 1 second goes by and they let go, but like you kind of get the sense like Rochelle knew that they were having a private conversation via touch. And when the person comes over to tell her that she's been hired to go do something, you do see, like, as they're kind of leaving or whatever, like, she gets the information about where to go to meet Faisal via communication from touch, like Kelvy has done.
Cool. And I saw, too, you said that the
Cool.
blue orb that Rick picked up was what let her see Rick's spell? Okay. So then I would also, I think I would hold back on relaying that they were all like Kelvy right now, because I don't feel like it's super relevant. And also, like, one, I feel Barnabas feels really fucking stupid for messing up and doesn't want to, like, kind of just wants to be like, it's fine, nothing's fine, it's there. And also, like, straight up knows that Minrai is totally fine with, like, killing Kelvy if need be. And so, like, doesn't want to bring up anything Vis related, just in case. So he's going to keep that bit close to his chest. But I will tell Rick what I saw the crystal ball doing. So you know.
Minrai during all of this is just gonna take a seat on the chair and like chill out, like just have a nice like happy moment of like we did it, y'all.
I
Like
think you can use Alt to like move them off the tiles.
so help me, gosh. Yes, I win.
So help
There we
you,
go.
gosh.
I'm in the chair. Gosh.
So help me, gosh.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, so I think Minrai's just kind of like basking it a little bit, and you know, I think, you know, I hopefully everybody heard her. I mean, she shouted that we had been successful in converting Lord Farquaad, so she's just gonna like chill out for a bit, kind of watch what everybody's doing.
End scene.
What should we do with the bodies?
Well, somebody must eat them, I imagine.
I mean, the guard's fine taken care of, but Rochelle, not so much.
Yes, perhaps we can find a place to burn her.
It'd be
Perhaps
great if I could just like
office.
roll her up into a package and send it up to New Heaven for them to experiment on. Now that I'm saying it out loud, that sounds weirder out loud than it did in my head.
You know, it is not so
yeah.
strange, perhaps. We can butcher, cut limbs, wrap limbs,
I do have cleavers.
do that.
You should let
But
me handle it. I don't want any of you guys
desecrating.
getting infected.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
very kind of you.
But we have
That
a
is
purpose.
also a bit of a lie in the sense of like the hope you felt when Barnabas was about to like get infected.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
I'm fine with Kelvy having said it. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, he's lying. He's lying to himself.
lying.
Yeah.
He's lying to himself big
He's
time.
lying to himself too.
He
let's
knows
be
this is what they want to hear.
Insight check. Thanks. No, I'm just kidding. That is true. Perhaps it would be best if you.
Can
dealt
I
with it.
take a couple vials or whatever? I think we had said before that I had like shit in all of my pockets
Yeah.
or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was able to
I
before.
think it's
So
perfectly viable for Barnabas to take some samples of flesh and blood from this person. Yeah, from
I would
Rochelle.
do that just because I promised that I would bring more samples. That was part of the like exchange. So I'm gonna do that, and then we can scene if we want to.
If Kelvy wants to say something that Mother Vis would not want him saying, would I roll a resist roll?
Yes.
Great. We're gonna go ahead and do that then.
Okay.
Just crit succeed it like I did.
But you.
Well,
he
here's
has
hoping because I get to
resist.
roll.
I know.
Get to roll 3, did you say? Where's the third one?
Yeah, because I have mastery.
But shouldn't that still just be
It's still
2?
okay.
It
Where's
didn't
the-
matter.
Well, it didn't matter. I took
Wow.
mastery.
Yeah,
It
which
is
is an
with,
extra D10. So where's the third one coming?
From having it
I get
normally.
I get the base one, and then I get it from having
Oh,
the
because
skill.
you have
and
the
then I get-
skill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's fine.
Yep.
It's still fine.
It did sure still fail. I will roll you some stress.
Oh,
Ooh,
Kelvy,
fat
yeah. So,
roll.
you take 4 stress to mind.
oh my God.
Okay. Hold on.
You're at what now?
You're at 12.
One second. Let me do some thinking.
Seven.
God.
I can step in to help you if you take Fallout, so don't.
7. Oh, you can. Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna roll the fallout unless there's anything that I need to know before I do.
I'm gonna go ahead and roll Fallout.
So that is fallout. All right. Let's see.
Were
7
you
is
relying
moderate.
on your resist to do whatever it was that you? Oh man, I'll be quiet.
Yeah, you are taking a moderate fallout from this. You can erase 5 stress. And I'll just look at because I don't think I want to use any of these, but
Is Midrise stepping in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna step in. You have to take the fallout first.
Got it.
What?
Okay, so the way it works is
I
according
thought-
to the thing here,
Damn it.
it says, Martyr, you sacrificed your life inch by inch to safeguard the future of the drought. Once per session, when an ally takes fallout, you appear next to them so long as it would be even slightly feasible to do so. It's like 3 feet, so I think we're good. They ignore the effects of the fallout, and I take D6 stress to an appropriate thing.
okay.
So
I don't
they
think
still-
we need to like settle what the fallout would have been in that case.
Yeah.
Aw, okay.
But you take
Oh,
Midrise.
That's okay. I can
6 to
vomit
mind.
mind stress. Yeah.
So Kelvy, you can take 5 off. Are you taking them all off of mind? Just
But
for
we're
right now.
taking them all off of mine.
Okay.
I'm at-
So Minrai's at 1, 2, 3,
I'm at
4,
4.
5. Okay, you're at 4.
Because I took off the stuff before.
Okay, and what is your vomit thing? Is that something you can
so
do? Do I have to roll fallout first? Is what I'm asking.
Yes, I believe so. Once per session, remove an ongoing minor or moderate mind fallout.
okay.
So, yeah. Or
Um,
downgrade a severe fallout too. Nice.
You're thanks. You're safe. Okay. So, Kelvy will say you open your mouth to say whatever it is that you were going to say that, and you black out. And when you come to, Minrai is over you, looking like she has a very uncomfortable headache, and kind of like, Kelvy, and you, again, like, this is essentially the narrative side of like what just happened.
Yeah.
And when you
Right.
even think about kind of like opening your mouth to speak again, you're like, "Ooh, probably not that."
Minrai will kind of kneel down after you seem to come back and be like, "You do not have to talk, but know that it is not yet your time to die. Hold on for a little bit longer, Kelvy." And then I'll turn to Lord Farquaad before we wrap the scene up, and I will kind of get close to him again, and I will whisper to him, "It is good to have another friend among the ranks. You will be waiting once every Sunday, assuming that we have Sundays. You will send. You will
We've
come
yet
out
to see one.
yourself." What? Oh yeah, we're yet to see one. I do not know. They are a mystery. You will send one yourself in disguise out to receive a missive. Do I kind of know what his estate is? Is there a place where I could hide like a missive easily?
Yeah, you
like,
remember you mapped out his whole estate using that web of the mistress or whatever. So
I'll like pick a spot, right? Like wherever, and I'll be like, check there once every Sunday, and perhaps your mistress will grace you with orders. And until then, do not arouse suspicion of your condition, but do not endanger our apartment any longer.
He kind of like nods really, really intensely, and even like reaches out like kind of a trembling hand to you, and like grabs at your robes and is just like, I'll do anything for her.
I'll-
anything for her.
I'll take his hand and be like, "I know, friend, I know. It is wonderful. Is it not?" And then I'll kind of help stand him up and like dust him off, and I'll be like, "Well then."
Can't stand up. He's bound in a way.
Oh
that-
yeah, I'll help like untie
Move.
him and stuff. Yeah.
Can Minrai untie him, or does Hennis have to?
Can I?
Yeah, she can.
That'd be cool, but-
It's a little advanced. I didn't bother taking.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll untie him and then I'll be like, "Welcome," and I'll like dust him off and I'll
He'll take. I think Kelvy had his mask, right?
Yeah.
And
get
so
the sketch looking presentable.
yeah, he'll like reach a hand out for the mask and say, "If I'm not to arouse suspicion, I'll need that."
You are doing wonderful already. Look at you. You will be a great addition. Go now and wait. And I'll kind of like hush him out the room. And then that's it for me. Anybody else want to do stuff?
Thanks for asking.
No
Does anyone else want to
problem.
do stuff?
Sorry,
I was gonna
gonna
check in on Rick having found the orb and with other. I don't know if there's anything. I know you said kind of like an unseen moment earlier, but I was just checking to make sure, like with that orb having been found and hearing from Barnabas, and also with Hennis, especially with like the Rick died, Rick didn't die. If there was anything wrapping that up that you wanted to do.
I think, Rick is just, exhausted and ready to go take like a really freaking long nap. Yeah, I don't think he has any sort of pressing. Well, he does, but sleep first.
Cool. And Hennis?
Never one to actually investigate his own emotions. He's gonna
I can still don't feel.
when he sees Farquaad leave, he'll like walk in the room and get his rope from whoever has it, but he's not making eye contact with anyone.
Okay. Then I think that is seen on that. So let's take us back to the old apartment.
Where it all began.
Where it all began. I need to get.
It's a homecoming, guys.
I think I would go see Marguerite first and probably not even come up to the apartment for a while.
I like that our table is making a face.
Yeah, it's like a little.
It is. Now that we've said it, I will never unsee it. It's. Oh my god. Okay. So I think at this point I don't want to jump to like what happens in the apartment unless someone's like, I had something I was gonna do as soon as we got home, and instead kind of put us at like do a little like narrative like moment and put us like a week out, and kind of hear from you all what in that week kind of had been happening, and then we'll kind of jump a little further out and hear about like kind of that. So here's where you come back to the apartment that night. You might see Marguerite, which you can tell us about in a minute, Ava. You might see people around. You find out a few things. You find out that Amandu has left with his boyfriend for a nice little vacation funded by Rick. Mama Luke's tells you all about it. As you know, you kind of check in on her. I think, Rick, I mean, you can tell me if that wouldn't be what you do, but in the sense of kind of keeping up certain routines, that's part of your routine. And she tells you all about how happy she is, and I'll let you kind of decide how Rick would feel or respond to that. And you find out that the community has started of the building, now knowing that the building is not going to be destroyed. Some people have moved back in to their abandoned apartments. Other new families have moved in. And the collapsed stairwell down to Marguerite's basement, the group, just people living here, have kind of collaborated to start repairing that stairwell. And so that's kind of the project ongoing. I mean, it's barely started, right? People are kind of, it's not like you've been gone that long, but with the morning as it was, the next day, or maybe even the day after, is when you get a note from S, which tells you to lay low, because Faisal has withdrawn his interest in Derelictus. Lady Hellion is on a warpath that frankly none of you even know about yet, because no one's been up to Amaranth since kind of some of the stuff's been going down up there, right? That is concerning to the ministry, and they want that drama between Hellion and Faisal to play out before they think that it's safe to have your cell do anything.
Did we get to tell them that we converted Lord Faisal?
Yes. So I presume that you wrote a note and
message,
dropped it
yeah.
off and gave like, yes, an account of what happened. And that's part of kind of the like, you know, you essentially get like a well done, this will be useful kind of kind of response from S. And then you're told lay low until we call on you again, essentially. So yeah, what let's see, why don't we take a break there, because I know it's a little earlier than we normally do, but I want to give everyone a chance, like, before we kind of jump into like what's kind of going on with your characters, like manage your fluids, and then we'll kind of check in one by one with what everyone's doing, play out any scenes anyone wants to play out, and we'll call it a wrap on season 1. How about that?
Ooh, exciting.
Okay, so take a 10-minute break. We'll be back at 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock, depending on which time zone you're in. Yes. See you in 10 minutes. Manage your liquids. I need to know what the command is for going break, don't I?
It's like
I
all
believe in you.
settling in. It's like finally we're at the end of season
Aw.
4.
I
The mistake
know.
of like wearing the mascara that runs. So
All right.
trying
We're
really hard not
going to break. Thanks, everyone. See you in 10 minutes. hello. Here we are, the last bit, the last half of the last episode of season 1 of Spire. We are going to pick up with what people are up to, kind of during this lay low period. So you can give us, immediate future. You can ask for like a scene if there's something like a particular scene with a particular NPC or player character that you'd want to play out, or you can just kind of give us like a into the sunset recap of like what your character is kind of doing beyond sitting
But there's
around
no
the
sun
apartment.
here.
Into the
I'm sorry.
heart of Spire. And then she threw herself into the unreality of the heart and was never seen again. That's the equivalent of Into the Sunset in Spire.
There you go.
All right. And then we're here. We are seen and heard. Thank you, Heather and Chelsea, for that wonderful update, because I did want to check. Okay. All right. Yes. So, any questions that we want to talk about before we jump into letting someone kind of start us off?
I have like a part A and a part B
Okay.
to what I want to do.
Mhm.
And I think part A takes place during the Layla week.
Okay. Yeah. Then go ahead if you would like to kick us off on what happens in this first week of. I think the lay low period is longer than a week, but like there's kind of a week of expected like don't draw attention to yourself, and then beyond that like don't do anything like a week of like much more confined expectation, right? Than an expectation that the group will not do anything ministry related or draw any type of risk drawing any type of attention for possibly several months after that. So in this, if that's what you meant, like in this kind of more constricted, like don't even really get too far from your home kind of business.
Probably like the week after, you
Okay.
know. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I would like I would want to celebrate, with everyone the fact that, we're getting to stay home, and I imagine before Rick does anything, he would wait for Amandu to come back.
Okay.
Like I don't necessarily think I need to act out. Well, I mean, maybe there's part of that would be nice, but I don't know if anyone wants to jump in first.
Me.
Like, okay, please, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think the first thing that I would do is probably immediately return to Marguerite.
Okay.
And very uncharacteristically, I think, Minrai has been very stressed about all of this, but has been kind of bottling it up so that she doesn't seem like it's affecting her too much to everyone. But I think when she sees Marguerite, she is going to do her best to very quickly wrap her in a hug before she can be like, I cannot do that, no. So yeah. So I think I'm going to go ahead and tackle her with a big hug and just be like, it was a success, yes. And then I think this is where Minrai explains everything and comes out to Marguerite as part of the ministry and tries to, at the very least, get her to give her blessing. And if not, Minrai says that she will leave and will not trouble them anymore, but that they have successfully protected the apartment, the clutch, everybody inside of it, and now have a high elf as a pawn. So she's going to lay everything bare to Marguerite because she knows, one, Marguerite would be a massive benefit to the place, and she respects her enough to be honest with her, and so she doesn't want to keep it hidden anymore. And so she says, if you don't want me to live here, I won't, but you have to know that. And so I think this is like when she's going to do it, now that she's like done with everything.
Okay, interesting.
I've been thinking very hard about how to wrap up the Minrai character, and to me that seems like one of the most, like, if she wants to move on, she has to like settle things squarely with Marguerite.
Yeah. So I think at the beginning of this interaction, you kind of throw yourself in this hug, and Marguerite, hugs you back and is glad that you're safe and sound and back. And I think she sees some of the youngness of Minrai in this moment too, and like recognizes how much Minrai needs a chance to be, younger, needs a chance to be less the world on her shoulders, right? But as you kind of start to
Oh, shit, she's gonna stab me.
explain things, no, she doesn't stab you. You see her face kind of starts to fall. And she sits and she's kind of tapping long fingernails on the table with all four hands, kind of agitated, and down as you're kind of telling her this. And she sits back in her chair when you've kind of finished saying everything, and Minrai, you must understand that when I told you you can serve only one master, this was my fear. And these people that you live with, that you do these things with, and whether or not you told her that, she has made that connection. The trouble that was brought to our home because of something not related to what you're telling me, it might only be the first of a great deal of trouble brought to our home because of what you're telling me. When a midwife takes up the duty of protecting and raising the clutch, she must not endanger it. Your loyalty to this organization endangers it.
I think Minrai would kind of try to speak out and just be like, I serve the Drow first and foremost. I would kill any of my comrades at a moment's eye should they threaten Drow and the future of the Drow.
Yes, Minrai. And I have not left this basement 30 years. Longer than you have been alive. And if you were asked to do such a thing, to protect a clutch, and you were told by the people you serve to then abandon the clutch, even for a day, to do something like you did last week, whenever it was, you would have to choose. And maybe you do whatever it is they ask, you come back, the clutch is safe. But maybe someone sees you, and they follow you. They attack you. Maybe they bring guards. Maybe they bring fire. These choices that you will be forced to make trying to serve two masters, they're not choices that I can allow.
That is fair.
You serve the Drow, and it is a noble choice to do so. But what you do also endangers the drow in other ways. And it cannot coincide with... She gestures behind her into the room. This...
I was afraid that that would be the answer, but I cannot move forward without being open and explaining everything to you. You have taken me in and taught me so much.
Minrai, if you had told me this at the beginning of the week, I think my reaction might have been much worse. I have never imagined that you could be a minister. I've never imagined that the ministry could do something like what you have done. For this reason, I will not support this. I will not make noise about this. Demand that you give up your loyalties. But my dear, as the mother of this midwife house that has overseen so many successful hatches of drow, there are choices I must make about who is trusted. And I cannot trust you the way that I once did when I know that you have other loyalties.
That is understandable. Allow us another day, if you would, to try to seal these cracks. I know that they are useful in some ways, but they attract danger.
You are right, and it was... Nobody's perfect. I see my own fault in believing that I could control this power, and yes, if you think you know what needs to be done...
We will be gone by the end of the week. At least I will be.
Very well.
I think... Goddamn. I think Minrai would kind of try not to look too sheepish and just get up and walk out and then head towards the roof where Mama Luke hangs out and just have like a good long cry.
Yeah, Mama Luke's
then
just open arms and her hands full of stuff that she was tinkering with. She doesn't even put it down, and just kind of pulls you in and, oh, it's all right, baby, it's all right. Just kind of rubbing your back and with like, like she's got like nails sticking out of like something and it's like rubbing your back. It's not the most comfortable, but still soothing in its own way.
Yeah. And then I think she'd probably kind of collect herself and just kind of square away that this is like a decision she had to make, I think, to commit all the way, and that, it was worth a shot. And she'll probably head down to the group and let him know what happened and be like, I'm sorry, I couldn't not tell her, and we have a week to move out and we can still do the basement stuff, but I don't, she knows what y'all have done and she won't report any of us, but I couldn't take advantage of her like that, and I'd appreciate it if y'all allowed me to report that I'm going to be moving away from this place and that I will be needing like a new station to the ministry.
Rick would immediately give you a hug.
I think Minrai's collected herself enough to go back to being like, I do not need a hug. Please, I am Minrai. I always land on my feet.
Minrai, would it be at all possible for you to still serve as like a liaison between the midwives and the carrion priests? Like, could you still? Do you think you've burned your bridge with?
I believe
Mother
that it will
Marguerite?
be simple enough for me to set up a liaison, whether it is Marguerite or she finds another housewife to take my place. I do not believe I've burned any bridges with the carrion priests, and she will not spread my secret. I have learned much under her care, and but my place is with the drow, and my place is fighting for a future that will not come for many lifetimes, but I lay the foundation that we may have hope, so that my grandchildren or your grandchildren may have hope.
Ulrich twitches at that.
Yeah. And I think she's just gonna like go to her room and like slam the door shut and like chill.
How am I gonna get treatment now?
Barnabas is just hanging out in the bed in your shared room, just like, what's up?
Oh no.
A lot. It is times like this that I feel my young age, old man. I wish that I had your experience. And then I think she's just gonna like curl up under her blanket and like fall asleep. Just be like, I'm done with today.
I think Sweet Pea will climb up into bed with you.
Yeah. I will like hug her.
She's there for you to cry into her fur.
Moonlight does not cry. Ava does though.
Aw. Ava, that was a beautiful scene.
Oh yeah.
Let's move on.
Yes, indeed. So, who would like to?
I can go.
Oh, all right, take it away.
So I think for like a day, Hennis is just hanging out in the apartment, not talking to anyone, or kind of isolating himself in probably an unhealthy way.
Rick facilitates
Before.
this.
He'll grab a piece of paper if we have that and scribble something down before leaving. And he's going to head up Spire, actually, to the perch.
Yes. So
And-
Perch is a place we have not been, but
True.
do you want to describe it, or shall I?
You describe it because I don't remember what the book says.
Okay. So Perch is a settlement, a drow settlement, pretty poor, that is actually attached to the outside of Spire. It hangs off the outside of Spire. So it is held together by ropes and cables and wooden planks, and pieces of it fall, and it's all, it's a dangerous place in like a physical hazard type of dangerous way, because you are navigating just kind of mangly, cobbled together settlements that are attached to the outside of Spire. And a lot of people who like live in Perch have these they believe that every object, everything kind of has a god in it of sorts, or a lot of them do at any rate. And so there are kind of sacred grounds within Perch where discarded items that are seen as being the home of gods are kind of collected and left in kind of these graveyards of gods that people sometimes come to and find an object that's holy to them, and all these kinds of things. So it's a cool place that we have not yet visited. So yes, so Hennis makes his way to Perch.
Do I make it there?
Yeah, yes, you can
Okay.
you can make it to Perch, yeah.
then I'm going to go to wherever I'm used to having this kind of ritual where items that do not have a deity bound to them, or where the bond between the item and the deity is weaker, where you would normally hold a ritual to strengthen that, or to bind a god into an item or a weapon or a rope per se. And
Yeah.
I'm going to try something new and try to bind a god into an item, and also put a part of the god in my armor in it.
Okay.
But I'm going to leave what happens or how that works up to you.
And this is just to make sure I'm on the same page. This is what we talked about before.
Yes.
And okay. Yeah, when you do this, is there like something you have to do or roll or anything, or is it just kind of like just to make sure,
Well,
is this an ability or is this like
this is not an ability, but I'm basing it on if I ever lose or my god weapon is destroyed, I can spend a night doing a ritual on the perch to do a new one.
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, so I think what we'll say, this is very interesting. Let's roll resist for me just to kind of see how this goes. It will be successful no matter what, because of but I want to see kind of how this goes for you. Taking it home with your natural 10s, you just...
I'm so sorry,
Wow.
Rachel.
Wow.
From start to finish, Hennis
The
either
worst.
just like full on misses or like home runs it. Those are the two options for Hennis. What you do here, as you find, you kind of pick over and find something that you think kind of works with what your goal is in mind, like an object that you're like, this could hold, right? And you take off the armor that you wear that has this deity in it, this god in it. And what you're trying to do here is essentially split a piece of your god into this other object, not to vacate the god from your armor, right? Because you still want the god armor. And it's a tricky process, and one that I think you don't necessarily go into thinking you're going to be able to succeed at, because the only thing you've ever been taught is how to create a new piece of god armor or god weapon, whatever. And so you have to do a lot of weird scrabbling and piecing together. And instead, there's something about you've been around people who have so much more occult knowledge than you, and who have exposed you to so many more things that you never would have thought of before. Your mind has been invaded via magic, and you've kind of learned from all of those experiences, like ways to experiment and ways to kind of like push boundaries that you might not have tried before. And you can just tell me like what you think this object, the new one, looks like. But at the end of the day, what you have is your god armor intact, with like kind of out of like kind of the corner of it, either a piece missing or kind of like some of it shaved off, whatever it is you kind of want to aesthetically say has happened to it. And now that like actually embedded in to or incorporated into whatever this new object is, and you test it a few times, and as you kind of like activate the magic in this new piece of thing, your armor, not visible to anybody else, but all to you, kind of like glows or presses in a way that makes it clear that the other piece has been activated.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take that and real quick tear that piece of paper in half and scribble some things on it, and then head back down to our apartment building. And I'm going to slip one of the pieces of paper under our apartment door and head up to Mama Luke's and ask to speak to her real quick. And just tell her to give this, and I hold out what's basically like a plank of wood that's been carved into the shape that the Aelfir fighting rings normally are. And it's kind of got a braid around it of what I ripped off from my armor piece by piece. And I hand her that, and I also hand her the other half of the paper that I tore and ask her to give this to Amandu when he comes back.
Yeah. She agrees, and she kind of looks at you and kind of tilts her head to the side, and as she accepts this, and she's holding it in her hands, and she just kind of looks at you and says, "Ennis, honey, are you all right?"
I have never been thinking clearer.
Kind of nods and reaches out towards you, and just I think she knows that you're not the hugging type, but she reaches out and kind of like brushes at your cheek, this kind of very motherly thing to have done, and she kind of nods, and she says, "Well, I've seen it on my boy, and I see it in you, but I hope you know that." She holds up the kind of the shape of the fighting ring. She recognizes it, right? The shape of it a little bit. And she holds it up and she says, "I hope you know, just like my boy, it's like my son, you're more than this."
I'm gonna quickly close the distance and give her an actual hug.
Wraps you up real big. Mama Luke's giving everybody hugs today. She gives you a big hug.
And so what the note that I slipped in our apartment said was that I consider myself a liability now with the magic that has been used against me and against the ministry. And do not worry. And then the one that I handed to Mama Luke's, I actually wrote down, so I'll read that in character, which just says, "I know that we have asked a lot of you, and I hope that with this I can give back to you. The Aelfir tell us many lies, but the biggest of that is 4 years. They will never let us go, but I hope that your experience can be freer now than mine. Faisal should no longer be an issue for you, but if you ever find yourself being pressured by your past, use this. I chose this to be my world, and you have chosen to leave it. Keep it that way." And then Hennis is going to go to the grist and try and find Harlan.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. You spend some time, you get there, you see, you actually encounter in your search some of the carrion priests that Rachel, Barnabas, and Minrai brought back, that you knew would be going to Grist. Grist is a very unpleasant place to be. It is full of ghouls, not well behaved, like the ones that Mama Luke's keeps in line in whatever creepy way she uses to do so. And you get in fights with these things. You get in scraps with them all the time.
Yeah, he's expecting this to take a while.
Yeah. And as you kind of there are not very many people in Grist because obvious reasons, cool people. But the truly desperate sometimes make their way and make a home here. And as you kind of interrogate and learn, you get the sense that how many you said you just wait like a day or two, right? This is
Yeah,
since-
Hennis is worried that they're going to try and use that magic on him again, and that laying low will not be effective. So he's like, well, if I'm in Grist, they're not going to know what's up.
Right. So it takes maybe a week before you get good enough information to actually follow up on it. And you find out that Harlan had definitely been here a week and a few days ago. Possibly was still here. And yeah, you spent some time tracking this down. Trying to think what I want to say here. Give me an investigation check with low society. Or actually you can do pursue as well. Pursue would be
Oh, good. I have that one.
okay. Pursue in low society. Okay, the 9, full success. You do find Harlan in the end, and or at the end of this week and a half. And Harlan has gotten most of the way to into this. Like, the reason it took you so long is like as you're going deeper and deeper in here, you are getting closer and closer to King Teeth, the deity of these ghouls. And the carrion priests are very interested. They're watching what you're doing, and one of them starts tagging along with you and actually ends up kind of helping you along because she sees how much progress you're making and like avenues that she hadn't thought to pursue. And you find Harlan, and he is not well. He looks like he's on, you know, death's door, and certainly not well. Also, like, he doesn't seem entirely possessed of his mental faculties, having been kind of living in this horror of ghouls for a while now on his own. And when he sees you, he immediately just starts coming at you. And when you and this carrion priest kind of get him to calm down, feed him some food, give him some water, he confesses a crime to you immediately. uh, he tells you, he kind of like he like kind of grabs at your collar, and tells you that that something that the ghouls, like King Teeth and the ghouls, he's like, I've been putting it together, and like, you know, this kind of crazed mentality of like, you know, the Charlie from Philadelphia, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like the here's the conspiracy board. Yes, thank you, Sam, that one. And he's got his, like, you know, he's essentially telling you the conspiracy, and he's going on, and he's like, the ghouls they're getting mad about things, and like they're, you know, and like half of it is bullshit, but what you start to piece together is that part of the reason the ghouls are kind of sending out parties in search of power sources is because of a fear that those power sources are getting soaked up by something else, and that if that continues, then like it's bad news for anybody who is kind of part of the more unreal aspects of Spire, including the ghouls. And King Teeth, as this deity who has some control over the ghouls, wants to find out more about what this other faction is that is kind of like soaking up or blotting, right? Seepages that ghouls would otherwise rely on as kind of a source of unreal, arcane, or occult power.
Does Harlan, seem like he's like infected by any of the ghouls or anything? Has he partaken in thinking flesh at all?
You
Could I also ask my whatever Barnabas's class is friend?
Carrion priest.
Carrion priest friend, yes.
Yeah. Roll an investigation this time with mastery from your friend,
Okay.
and low society.
So I don't have investigation, but I have mastery in low society.
Yes.
That natural 10 life. You think that he has not partaken in thinking flesh. You okay, Rachel?
Just wondering how. It's so much success all the time. Fine.
He just keeps
He just keeps
winning.
winning.
He's
Just
so
keep
much
winning.
winning. We're getting
Fine.
sick of it.
I won for the first time today. And it's fine. It's great.
He has not. You think that part of the reason he is so unwell right now is because he has deprived himself of any source of food, water, etc. while in grist for long enough now, as he's getting closer and closer to like where he can actually get to King Teeth, as well as having to hide out and always be watching his back because like you're in the lion's den, right? And so between those two things, like you get the sense like because he's been intentionally avoiding ending up eating thinking flesh, he has eaten nothing and is kind of starving himself, dehydrated to the point of maybe hallucinating things, maybe, right? Like just very unwell from not only like the paranoia of existing in this space for so long, but also the kind of physiological and psychological effects of long-term starvation, dehydration.
I understand what you are saying. I see all of this around me as well. I know what you are speaking of, but I do not think that you will be able to do much to help anyone here in your current state.
He like kind of grabs you again and he's like, when I did my durance and when my brother did his durance, the fucking ghouls, man, they had us cleaning out ghouls. Did you know that? Did you know that? Like, just cleaning out. He's just kind of starts babbling about like his durance and like makes you think that perhaps like from what he's saying that like a lot of his durance was spent fighting ghouls, and it's not very clear necessarily why he's even telling you this, outside of the kind of like he's not well, right? And so you kind of suggesting that like let's remove ourselves, like he's just like this is what I do, right? It's kind of like he's digging in on that.
Cool.
But if you want to try and get him away or whatever, you and this Kieran can. That probably.
Yeah, I would probably start with trying to convince him to like go back to where the other carrion priests are still set up, and, like get back his strength to, and I'll leave that open-ended because I don't want to actually say that he can go back.
Yeah. Roll compel. Go ahead and take mastery from the carrion priest, who's going to start talking about the possibility of conversion to the worship of Charnel as an alternative for this person to be fighting ghouls. So you can take mastery from them with low society. An 8. Okay, I thought you didn't even get that.
Me too.
That's
Look,
that
a success with no stress.
With no stress.
I'm shocked.
Yeah. So you convince him, and you take him back to where the other.
Rick, you're muted, by the way. If you were talking just now.
Me?
Sorry. Rick.
No.
Rick.
Oh, I thought you said Rachel.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And you take him back to the other carrion priests, and I don't know if you have interest in taking him back to Gray, but the carrion priests start nursing him back to health right away, like with actual food, not cannibal food. No offense to all the cannibals in the group. Yeah, they're providing him, non-thinking flesh food, water, taking care of him, like, and they kind of reassure you, like, we can handle this if you want to leave him with us. And you know, get the sense that, like, he's actually legitimately kind of interested in this alternative path of, like, getting into, like, fighting ghouls or being involved in kind of the investigation of this via the worship of Charnel.
Okay.
I mean, he is also not fully in his right mind right now, so take that with a grain of salt, but
Yeah. I mean, I would in character try and convince him probably wants to go back to Gray, but I don't think that he would ever listen to me given our history.
no, he's really uninterested. If you want to try rolling for it, it will be at difficulty, but you can.
Sure.
Yeah, just do it.
More chances to roll low. Let's do it.
Just to make Rachel happy. So yeah, you're rolling compel, and low society, and you're rolling at difficulty. So.
One or difficulty 2?
It's difficulty 1. So that's an 8.
Oh.
You brought this
Andrew,
upon
you are a
yourself.
monster.
Yeah.
I
So,
really am.
yeah. He finally kind of, as he's getting better, and the carrion priests kind of like hear you asking him to like at least go and check in with the Gray, and like your roommate's worried and like all these things, you know, he sent me to find you, like at least go back once, like and the one who was with you all the way in kind of
Mhm.
throws her weight into the conversation here and says, like, I'll go with you, like I won't abandon you, like if you're, you know, like you're not going to lose your chance here, if this is what you want to do. And so yeah, he will go back to Gray, who is, first of all, he's like, what the fuck, it took you like 2 weeks to, he's
Oh,
like,
I don't go back.
yeah, okay, yeah. All right, yeah,
Yeah.
so you have no clue what happens, but yeah, okay, so then
Okay, and then I will offer my services to the carrion priests since I've seen that I was able to help them get deeper in, and
Okay.
just say, for as long as you guys are here, I will totally be here to help you out.
all right, and Hennis becomes a fighting a fighting hand of the carrion priests in Grist for the foreseeable future.
Someday you will eat thinking flesh and you will turn. Someday you will get your own hyena friend.
All
Join
right,
us.
so Cavalier and Ulrich and Barnabas,
Oh,
what
it's like,
are
Me.
Barnabas,
Me.
okay,
I
what's
was
up?
talking and then I was still muted.
Okay.
So
sure, you can
Yeah.
go first. I think I should go before Kelvy because some of my stuff's going to involve Kelvy.
Okay.
Or like
Yeah.
trying
Great.
to
Some of
help
my stuff
Kelvy.
will involve you two,
I would
so
like
I
to
hope you
do
stay
like
close to the party.
I would like to do at least my part 1 right now, and then part 2 after Rachel and Tyler's stuff.
Okay.
So what I would like to say is that at some point I interact with Amandu and I give him kind of like a we fucking did it, as well as like a kind of a subtle goodbye.
Okay. Roll real quick. Roll a luck check for me. Just a D10 luck. Not very lucky. That's okay. Yeah, he actually kind of gives you a hug, like just like upon seeing you. He's very happy to see you. He looks pretty good. He looks like he has enjoyed himself these last few days. And his boyfriend is in the apartment with him. Like he's come, like he sees you come in, like introduces himself, you get to meet him, and he sees, you know, that this is going to be kind of a personal conversation, and says, you know, I'll take some tea up to Mama Luke's, and starts to kind of gather some things to give you space.
Amandu, I don't know if you've really heard all the good news, but we've taken care of Lord Faisal. I don't know if this has been relayed to you, but you don't need to worry about him at all, ever again.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I did hear is Hennis gone? He left me a note, that told me a little bit about what happened with Faisal.
Right, I think Hennis has gone off to do some work in Grist. But I don't really know the details. I just wanted to, you know, give you the good news before I made my way out of Derelictus. I don't know when I'll be back, but I did want to see you before I headed out.
You're leaving too?
Yeah, I think it's time I did more of the good Lord's work.
He kind of nods.
I would, if I have like any of my old sets of uncolor changed crystals, I would like to give a set to him. I'm giving you these, Amandu, not because I'm trying to convert you to Limier, but just think of these as like a good luck charm. And yeah, no, I think Rick is starting to cry a little bit, but he doesn't want Amandu to Rick is very in touch with his feelings, but right now he doesn't want Amandu to see the sign of weakness from him, because I think Rick fears that he might stay if he doesn't go now. And
yeah, Amandu takes the gems and just is like, as you're kind of like, you said you kind of just rush out the door a bit. Is that the yeah? Just kind of as like, I hope we see you again. My mom will miss you.
Give my love to Mama Luke's, and then I kind of hastily make my way down to the stairwell.
Okay.
And Ulrich heads up to the gardens, to Lord Faisal estate.
To Amaranth.
To Amaranth, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to say that at this point it's evening, but it's always dark.
Well, Amaranth is up Spire enough that you do get some sunlight up there.
Okay. Then it's evening time.
Okay.
And I would like to make my way into the Faisal estate.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume I have to wait.
Not nearly as long. You are kind of admitted by a servant. You are expected to wear a mask as normal. And not long, once Faisal is kind of told that you have arrived, he actually comes down into the waiting room himself, dismisses the servant, and walks right over to you and kind of grips at your arm a bit and is like, what news? What are we doing? What's the plan?
You can relax for a moment. What's his first name?
Faisal is his first name.
Okay.
Yeah. His last name
It's like
is
Faisal
something in snow, some snow
like
things. I can find it. I'm almost.
You can
there.
relax, my snowflake. It's okay.
Snowflake.
It's fine. It's fine. I come on a bit of a mission, and I need information, and I need supplies, and I think it's best that we conduct this meeting in private.
He nods and gestures you upstairs, and you go back to that study that you went to the first time that you visited the Faisal estate.
Okay. Lord Faisal, thank you for welcoming me in so quickly. I've come on an important ministry business, and I am in need of basically a catalog of all of your occult magic weapons items. I need a list of literally anything that might be of some use to the ministry. Now, bear in mind what I might need to commandeer some of your stock, but it is being used for the greater good. You can rest assured.
He kind of rubs his hands together. He actually takes off his mask and sets it down, sits down at his desk and starts to like think about it. And he just makes a list of things that he has. You see on the list there is his coat. The coat that produces a random object once a day.
A coat of many things.
A coat of many things. And you see a dagger is listed. And notably, only one dagger is listed, despite there having been a pair of daggers. And he kind of gestures at the case where now two daggers are sitting. And he kind of shrugs and says, "One's a fake." And he keeps going. But and then there's the silver the silver sword from that he had on his person during the fight, and that I think Minrai saw in the like museum-y kind of part of his house, gets jotted down. I can't even remember entirely. Where is that? It is he kind of he as he's writing the things, he's like commenting on them to you. And that one he shows you, he kind of pulls it out and he's like, as you can see, it can be hidden, magically hidden is kind of its occult nature, as well as and he kind of like brings it out with a flourish, and it's a very beautiful weapon, as Minrai saw when she was in there. And it's actually he tells you it is an Aelfir creation. It's a masterpiece sword, which is to say that it was created by like the master smiths of, you know, elder years of the Aelfir like whatever, like high elf smiths who from long ago who made this thing. Which means that you roll it, if you use it in combat, it rolls at a higher dice level than a normal like sword would. So you would be rolling d8 damage instead of d6 damage. And yeah, that it pierces armor.
So
it
gets the devastating tag.
It has the masterpiece tag. It's a different tag. Masterpiece. Okay. It also has the tiring tag and piercing. So if you were to add it to your inventory, those would be the three things you would need to know, as well as obviously concealable. But it's like a magic property of the sword that it is concealable, so it doesn't need the tag necessarily so much as like you have to know how to activate and deactivate the magic that conceals it. So.
Okay. Yes. This is all.
And the dagger, he would, besides the one that was a fake, he would say, this dagger though, and he kind of takes it out of the case and shows it to you. And when he pulls it out, you see glinting along the edge of it. It glints kind of crimson. And he looks up at you and he says, and he like turns it so that you can see, and like the metal is not bloodied. It's normal metal that you can see, but in certain angles in the light, it glints crimson. And this one, he says, it's remarkably sharp, and as it pierces things, it seems to just cut through anything it touches, but that's not even its most remarkable or notable feature. It seems to have a great deal of occult energy that, when used in rituals, can direct the magic users, the occult users, energies and amplify them. You get the sense
Would
this
I
is
would I take that to mean it's an occult focus?
yes. It is certainly a weapon that is it is very sharp, and that it would have the piercing tag if you were to use it, but it is not necessarily meant for combat. It seems much more meant to be used as an occult focus. You also, like, in the glinting of crimson on it, you get the sense that what makes this occult, what some would call occult, you feel a divine connection to. This seems to have, like, in the crimson glinting, a connection to Lekole.
I think seeing the crimson would kind of immediately ping in Ulrich, and he would reach out and hold onto this dagger. Kind of take a look at it. Yes, this is nice. This is very nice.
Yeah, as you're holding it, the story of Hallow D, that you once read, it feels like a long time ago, a different life, right?
Mhm.
Almost like you think about that for some reason in this moment, and as you try to grasp at that memory of Hallow D, um, the story is, you remember reading it, you know that you're thinking of it for a reason right now, but it's fading from your mind, and kind of in its place, like, instead of thinking of Hallow D, like, the more that you kind of grasp onto that memory of reading that story and feeling like, I could find out more about this, I could learn how to be like D, right? Um, that the more you try to grasp that, the more that glinting red crimson kind of captures your mind, and until you're just kind of seeing a blood red full moon in your mind instead. And you don't even remember what you were trying to think about anymore.
Yes, this is very nice, Faisal. I'll take it. All of it. There's one other list that I need from you. A list of names. I require the names of any human or elf that is responsible for the prohibition of Malak. I need their names, and I also need to know, among the High Elf, I know all of you vie for popularity. It does seem like a trivial thing now, doesn't it? But I need to know if you answer to anyone.
Um, for the list, for the sake of brevity, the list is given to Rick. It is extensive. It is full of political hard hitters, all the way up to and including the council. of the High Elves of Amaranth, who ultimately were the ones who made that decision. There are also quite a few important religious figures on this list from the Solar Basilica, which is a High Elf kind of religion and temple. So yes, this is, I mean, there are much smaller targets on here too, but like what you're seeing is that this was an intentional political, religious, as you might suspect, cultural iconoclasm essentially of sorts that was carried out by high elves kind of across the board of the ruling class. And there are certainly like people who are most implicated who are on the list for you.
Yeah, I mean the names that Rick is most interested in are any of those that would be related to the death of Morphin.
Right. I think it would take some investigating to figure that out. But ultimately, with Faisal kind of cooperating and being able to ask any question, get any information, there are certainly names on here that are like the executive, like police force style, more where like they would have busted into bars and like shut things down and like killed or captured or whatever people trying to deal. Malak, when especially after its kind of decree of it being illegal. So there are people that are certainly more implicated on that, including one of the council members on the council.
So that all is great. Faisal, I still need to know who, if anyone, who is the highest ranking elf right now.
Look at my book. There's an answer to this, and I don't know it off the top of my head. Let's see if I can find out.
And tell me everything you know about them.
I love that Rick's out here on that hustle. Like we got a high elf.
I'm gonna find out who killed my partner.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh my god!
His
I thought
partner
you
was
were like
murdered because of the drug trade, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were trying to get like more drug legalized stuff so you could deal better, and I was like, "Damn, Rick, like hustle, get it."
I wouldn't expect Faisal to know who blew up a bar, a random low elf bar, but I would expect him to know names of people that I could ask the right questions to.
But also ask him to put you in contact with an investigator, maybe. He probably has hella resources.
Okay, so the answer is Archdeacon Many the Seedlings.
Archdeacon Many the Seedlings?
Yes.
Don't like that.
That name makes me
Sound-
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Well,
He
I like it.
is he is high ranking obviously in the Solar Pantheon or the Solar Basilica, worshiper of the Pantheon. And is a zealot, religious zealot. And due to kind of his combo political and religious clout, as well as immense financial resources, is the most powerful member of the council. Though not formally recognized as like a leader, the council has no official kind of chairman.
And do I know where he resides? Is he always within the basilica?
So he spends a lot of time in the basilica, and he would reside. He has an estate in Amaranth, as most high elves do, and is frequently goes to the council meetings and things, which is a political It's not those meetings are not held in the
Okay. Lord Faisal, you have been most helpful in this endeavor. I'll be in touch shortly. Thank you for your supplies and your knowledge, and the ministry is grateful.
all right.
And end scene.
And yeah, good job. Excellent. Let's hear from Barnabas.
I got nothing.
Oh, okay. Kelby?
He just sits in his room staring
Yeah.
at the wall.
My second part too, if I can get one real quick, will involve Barnabas. So
Okay.
No, I refuse.
no, it's too late.
I mean, we are not going to have enough time, so
It'll be quick. It'll be
We
quick.
are.
okay.
This is the last episode. We are going long, Elise. It is what
I mean,
it is.
that is not something that I can unilaterally decide. Is
Tyler
it?
is fine. I decided for
Oh,
him.
that's nice.
He gave a thumbs up. There you
Okay,
go.
All right. Rachel, what's Barnabas doing?
So I feel like it would be two things. One is working on helping the people with whatever the fuck they're doing in Derelictus and trying to reestablish his cred. So trying to do whatever he can to help those that need it and to do all whatever the kind of work needs to be done since he failed so miserably before.
I'd draft you to help me too, like fixing the stairway to the basement,
Yeah.
the cracks, and then like
Barnabas will roll up his sleeves with his,
Yeah.
Strangely muscular, veiny old man arms. And so that would be what he would be dedicated to. I don't know if I need to roll anything for like reputation wise or to anything or
No, I think you have a lot of reputation around here, around these parts, and I think the bumps that happened in terms of everything that went down with Calvi and such outside the building, like you know that the way to regain trust and loyalty is to show via action that your actions align with what you profess. And so yeah, I think that you kind of get into the work of what you've always done, which is and it doesn't take long for neighbors to kind of, outside the kind of high intensity situation of like all this shit going down outside their apartment building that they thought they were getting kicked out of and then they weren't, and right, to kind of remember that Barnabas has been there, right? Barnabas has been through it all with the people of Derelictus, and so you work on the stairs, you work around the building, kind of helping new families get moved in, helping old families resettle, and broader through Derelictus, right? Continuing kind of your service as a priest, taking care of bodies, which are, there's always dead people in Derelictus to clear out, and yeah.
Okay. So then I would also head up to New Heaven with with Minrai, apparently. And also with my flesh and blood that I have collected.
Okay. I just want to say out loud to Sarah that people in the chat are begging you to put your video on and show them the dog. So if you feel like doing that. Yeah, I think she went upstairs.
I'll say
Chelsea
before
says it's her birthday, please.
Yes. Before I go up with you, I think I would let Marguerite know and say that I think it's still good for the two groups to have correspondence. I think I convinced her of that last time. And hi, I want puppy.
Hi, Sarah.
It's Sarah. It's a dog.
Rika.
Oh,
Hi, Rika.
I love you. I miss you.
She's a good dog.
Ah,
She looks so little all curled up like that. But
Yeah,
don't,
what is? She's just so
Right?
meek.
Can she
she
hear us?
is she's very capable of compressing herself down into a small little pile. But don't be fooled. That's 72 pounds of pit bull muscle.
Oh, yeah, no, she's intense
yeah.
as fuck.
She's strong.
You're covered in slobber and fur when you meet her.
Oh my god,
Mhm.
yes.
Thank you
But
so
I
much,
think I would-
Sarah, for
Thank you,
Yay,
Sarah.
Sarah's the best.
She says happy to help.
I think I'd try to get a note from Marguerite, basically establishing correspondence so that I can remove myself from the mix, since I don't think I should be representing the midwives anymore in that relationship. So I'll just kind of tell her that I think I convinced her last time that it's a good idea to have that relationship and expand on it. So yeah, that's what I do before I go up to New Haven.
Yeah. New Haven. New Haven is a place
New
in
Heaven. Sorry.
in
In
Denmark.
Connecticut, or
Well, yeah, that too.
wait, all right.
And you I think Marguerite deploys Breeza for this job, and sends you to kind of do the introductions up in New Heaven.
Yeah.
And
Cool beans.
Okay, so we will take a sky whale.
take a sky whale. You're in New
Can you
Heaven.
make sky whale noises for me?
There are so many goats at the sky whale station.
Yes.
It's unclear what they're doing there, but there are so many.
I just somehow, for some reason, have like a pocket full of breadcrumbs, and I just reach in and just.
Wait, so make goat noises for us then.
The goats are going to be like, no, we don't need your breadcrumbs. We have a fully formed society, and
Yeah,
we
the
eat
goats-
French
the
onions."
goats kind
They
of like
pick up the
like-
breadcrumbs with their fingers and are like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
they pick
Throw
up the
it back.
breadcrumbs and like look around for the crows and then spread the breadcrumbs for the crows.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
hmm
Okay, so I'll walk towards whoever it is that I need to talk to and all the things.
Okay, yeah. So you head back to your temple and get in with our favorite gay dads. What are they? What's their names?
Their
Um,
names
Faden.
are Phineas and
Phineas
Saul.
Saul, that's
Saul,
right.
Phineas and Saul.
Phineas and Saul.
Um,
Because everybody has an old person name if they're a carrion priest.
True.
Maud, Susan. All right, Phineas and Saul.
Saul.
Yeah. It's been a minute. Whichever one was the more science-minded one. I have that in my notes.
I think that was.
Phineas.
Phineas was the
I
more
think that was
science-minded.
Saul.
Great. So
Oh, are you
Phineas.
sure?
Sure. Phineas is not there, but Saul, kind of brings
I
you
only
in.
want to talk to Phineas.
Saul is so insulted.
I don't say that. That was Rachel.
No, but like he sees it on your face and he's like, I understand. He's more interesting than me, and just leads you into the back room, like through the temple, and like knocks on the door and is like, Phineas, open the door. Like Phineas like, opens the door and like has like
Barnabas.
yeah, like singed eyebrows, like very mad scientist style. And there's like three like other carrion priests, like much younger, who are all just like poking their heads out. You've got the stacked heads kind of thing, curious about what has brought what has brought the other one, Saul, to the lab, which doesn't happen often.
I pull out just a baggie and I say, I brought flesh
oh,
for
great.
testing.
And he takes it and he like looks essentially at his TAs and it's like, get on that, and hands it over, and they kind of scatter it back into the lab.
I did want to talk just a little bit about this and the growth that's been made, maybe the movement forward, and my own experience with it, if you had a minute.
Yep. let's and like Saul kind of like pulls Phineas out of the lab. Phineas is like yelling instructions over his shoulder until the door is like closed slowly.
Make sure you wear gloves.
Yeah.
And don't let any.
Yeah. If you don't, Carol didn't wear goggles. Now she doesn't need to.
I can't. Oh no, Carol. I don't know if there are like promotions in like your thing, but I think if Minrai's there, she's gonna like rally for you and be like, oh yeah, like none of this would have been possible without Barnabas. Like he did the whole thing, like he's so cool and he did all of this, and you should really give him like a position of more power and all this stuff.
Yeah, what's
Saul
ahead
kind
of
of
a
looks
priest?
at you and is like, do you want a position with more power?
As long as I could stay in Derelictus and help the people there. No? Okay.
I mean, I guess we can just, we can give you like a certificate or something.
I will hang that on my wall with pride.
Okay.
Just a ribbon.
Yeah,
Says
you're like
best
first
priest.
place.
No, it says third place for sure.
The goats
says priest of the
goats
month.
make it for you. They're paid to make the certificates and ribbons.
Yay!
Cursed.
Yes, I love it.
All right, and what would you?
So I wanted to just I wanted to know if you'd made any progress. I mean, you made me this this wonderful amulet, which is great.
And
I
you
love
used
it.
it every day since then, right?
Well, I have a confession to make. When it counted most, I kind of forgot. And so it was a big thing. So you know how like I kind of Charnel blessed me with some extra special powers, and I decided to try and use them, in which I wanted to get an idea of the life of a dead person. And it was in a really intense moment. Somebody almost killed Sweet Pea. I kind of went a little bit crazy and maybe tore their nuts
we all
off.
would if our hyenas were in danger.
Absolutely. And then everything, it was just a nutso situation. And then there was this lady that had a weird face. And I was kind of just like, oh, I'm really curious about her and all the adrenaline and everything. And so I just took a bite. And she was infected with this. But I'm sharing this because Charnel can resist this. I don't know if you found this in any of your amazing scientific experiments and studies, but I felt the power of Charnel flow through me, and it eradicated the vis that was in my system. It wasn't even an instant. And I mean, Charnel was real disappointed. I mean, it was not a good feeling. I mean, like I admit I messed up, and but Charnel can resist vis. I know we had talked about maybe he wasn't as interested in it, but he can. And I think that maybe that can be useful in I'm using my hands a lot. I think this really can be useful in maybe solving the vis problem, because I mean, it's a lot of work to have to do this talisman, and I'm an old geezer and I kind of forget things, right? Like sometimes it's hard to remember everything, and you eat a person and you're like, oh, did I check for them or not? And then, oh no, suddenly you're turning into a bug and it's just the worst. So I thought that maybe that this revelation could help you in our fight against not just killing this, but actually curing it.
this effect that you're talking about certainly sounds like a useful pursuit. I wonder how many of our priests, however, how many people have that kind of connection to Charnel that you're talking about. But
I mean, I definitely do.
yes, you and about 7 other people total. So my point being that we would have to find out how to harness it. And Phineas at this point starts like, like science brains kind of going, and Saul's just like, well, he's done, so but yeah, I mean, like, they take this information in stride, and Phineas is immediately starting to consider all the things that he could do, and we have 5 minutes before it's 9:30, which is 11:30, and I don't want to override everybody's schedules. So I think it's time to check in on what we want to do in the upcoming both hour and perhaps, if we need
Do we
to.
want to give Kelvy a chance to do? I don't know if you
obviously,
were okay.
but I think that
All
it
right.
will take more than 5 minutes to resolve Kelvy, and then check in with, Rick has
Fair.
kind of a part 2 that needs to get settled. So
Sure.
in that regard, where are we at, folks? Tyler, friends, anyone?
I'm good. Yeah.
Carry on.
Yep, I'm good to carry on.
Carry on.
Okay,
Carry on.
let's carry on.
Carry on, my wayward priest.
Carry on.
So, Rachel, before I move us to Kelvy, is there anything else Barnabas would do that you want to like touch on, or is that kind of like the main thing that you wanted to get done?
You can tell me if you think this would also be in my wheelhouse. But in that I would. Did I ever before visit Grist and look into the ghouls or things like that, or was that totally out of my purview? And like,
not totally, but like Maud was kind of the Grist guard, and so I think you like might have dropped by to like see how she was doing, bring her some nice liver juice, but like not spend very much time there.
Does Hennis just like always hide behind like a chair or something whenever I'm there? Or...
I'm always out on an expedition, of course.
Expeditions into Grist.
Of course. Mm-hmm. And then I also feel like I would just try to like get closer to Kelvy. I feel like in my like still like my the 2 main goals in Barnabas's life, the 3 main goals in Barnabas's life are to protect Derelictus and to help it like the people there survive and thrive with what they have, to serve the ministry, but I feel like that's also falling a bit by the wayside, but I'm not sure. And also to cure Kelvy. Like that is just like become his passion, like he is doing all of this stuff. He doesn't care about anybody else. He is doing all of this stuff with the Carrion Priests because he is like, I don't think Kelvy deserves to suffer and die like this. I think he deserves to be, like eaten with honor when he dies as a, So
Yeah.
like I also feel like I just want to kind of get like hang out with him a bit more and get to know him a bit better, and we don't have to like role play that out or anything, but like during this time, like I feel like Barnabas would be paying attention to doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's transition then to Kelvy, and you can kind of touch on like how you think Kelvy would react to Barnabas's kind of increased attempts at friendship here and care to Kelvy, as well as anything else Kelvy would do.
Yeah, so just quick question here. Rick, when you left, did you let us know if you were coming back or how long you would be gone? It's cool if not. I'm just curious.
That's a great question. I don't think Rick knows when he's going to be back, if ever.
Sure.
So he probably would have tried to have made some sort of a goodbye gesture to everyone. Absolutely to anyone that was still in the apartment at the time, but Hennis had already left, so lost my shot there.
So before you left then to go, if I could try one more resist roll for Vis here.
Yeah.
Try and get the words out before a final goodbye. If that's okay.
Go for it.
Sure. Did we not roll?
Come on, roll 20.
Let's try again.
Sometimes it's just, there we go.
There we go.
That's a success.
Yes, it is.
Hey!
Oh, okay. Great. So Kelvy, for the last however many days until you decided you were going to go see Isel, has been near silent. Has just been at his typewriter writing. If anybody were to look over his shoulder, it was just images, like a written description of Neza's vision for the building. It's kind of over and over again. And when you say you're leaving, Kelvy is going to pull you very close. And can you do it again?
Do what?
I need you to use the rite of conversion on me. I don't know how much time I got, and I don't know how much longer I can fight this before I go full bug, but I would gladly be a shell of myself and serve the ministry. Then you guys have to put me down later. So can you do it again?
Oh God, Kelvy, I mean, you understand that this means that I will be going into your brain, learning everything and snapping all of your relationships, all of your ties out of existence.
And all that means nothing if tomorrow I wake up and I try to bleed all over this and infect you. I'm losing myself the further I get into this. I have bullshitted my way out of so many fucking situations, and I can't bullshit what's eating me from the inside. So I need you to do this. Need you to do this one favor for me.
Kelvin, I understand. Jesus. Don't, no, Limier. That would be my force of habit. Limier. Fucking hell.
Rick, if you don't, I have one more option. I do not want to have to walk into the heart of Spire, back to the Blood Witch that brought me to the cavern, and ask them to rip the viscant blood from my system.
Something tells me that wouldn't go over too well with them.
I don't think so either.
Okay. Table talk. Elise.
Yeah.
I'm still able to do this. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'll take it.
I think this one I should roll.
Yeah, I want you to roll this one. Either way, Kelvy, this just to prepare you, because you only witnessed it before, but you didn't experience it. This is going to cause a lot of pain. I realize you're probably used to it by now, but just so you're aware, it's going to happen, it's going to hurt, and lots is going to be changed in a matter of moments, but I'm ready. I'm ready to do this for you. I want to do this for you.
Okay, how many d10 am I rolling?
You'll be rolling 3, I believe.
Okay.
Because it's religion and compel. I believe that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, compel and religion. I have both of those. Any chance that this could be like a help action because he's willfully letting me do this?
I'm thinking I wasn't like frozen. I realized I like didn't move. I was like, I think I don't. They did.
Because normally,
I know.
rite
I was
of
thinking about it.
conversion is
Okay.
something that I'm forcing on
Right.
someone.
It's a good point.
Calvi can roll resist if you want to attempt to give the help.
Yes, I
you
would
have
love
to
to do
resist
that.
against Vis to help. I see.
Yes.
Yep.
And
Okay,
this
so
will be
he
at
would
difficulty.
have to roll that first.
Yes,
then,
Calvi
right?
is rolling resistance.
Do you? I'm rolling that, not you.
You can roll that.
Yeah, and then
Yes.
Elise
I will
roll 4 d10.
Yes. If you succeed.
Got
at
it.
resist.
All right, so this is me rolling.
Nope.
Jeez.
The fucking fuck.
No.
Tyler.
And in trying to force yourself into accepting the rite before Rick even starts, you are going to take.
Oh no!
Okay.
6 mind stress as you try to.
Does Kelvy have the worst?
This wasn't.
Okay.
This was not worth it.
Kelvy's
All
gonna
right.
die.
I'm going to
Worth it
roll
to Kelvy.
3d10. I'm going to roll them just as a Google roll so they're not in the chat so you can't see the results. So if you are watching the stream, players, please turn the stream off for a minute or just tab away from it for a minute.
We can be in the Twitch chat, just not watching the video.
Oh, cat! Everybody, look
Yes.
at Rachel's cat.
Okay.
instead
I
of
wanted to
watching
make
the
sure.
So,
Can
I'm going
you
to
do it
preface
on your
this-
laptop?
I mean, I can roll it, but I mean, I want the audience to be able to see.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
thought you didn't want. Okay, you were telling us to
You
get
all,
off of stream.
yes, you,
Sorry.
the players should not look. The audience can watch. And to preface this, if we need a 6 or higher, 7 or higher. Let me check it.
It's 6 or
I think
higher
it's
success.
6 or-
Yeah. Okay. 6 or higher is a success. So
And then both Kelvy and I will
We'll
roll
take-
d6
right,
stress.
and you guys can do that. Okay. So y'all shouldn't watch. And I'm going to, so audience members, people watching from home, you should be, if you see a 6 or a higher in my results, then you know that it was a success. And if you don't see one of those numbers, then you know it was a failure, but we're going to try to not give it away to the players what happened.
Oh, look at the cat! This will distract us so we don't look.
Yeah, we're being distracted, so we don't look at what the
Oh,
things
is
are.
your cat making biscuits?
He is
Little biscuit.
biscuit cat.
So cute.
All right. We did the roll. And Rick, I need you to roll a d10.
You need me to roll a d10?
Yes, I do.
Can we tap back to the stream?
Yes, you can come back to the stream. Lena, you wanted high. I see in the chat that she was like, I already forgot. Lena, you wanted a high. One of those dice to have shown high is what you wanted.
Oh my god, it's
I have
both
to
of
roll
you,
a d6 stress now,
yes,
right?
both of you roll a d6 of stress. I should have
Oh,
rolled
boy.
Fallout for Kelvy already. All right.
Oh, fucking hell. Oh, hey.
Hey, you're only at 8 now.
Wait.
Oh wait, no,
I'm
because
at
you'll
8.
roll Fallout for the 6,
Yeah,
and
but
then
did you
for
have
the...
any mind resistance? Because you all would have been at 0
I
every...
sure didn't.
Yeah, I
Plus, Kelvy's heart has no mind resistance. Come on.
I sure didn't.
I know.
Okay.
All right.
So
During this, would I be up Spire, or is it feasible that I would be able to show up for this to help? I mean, if it's like a stressful thing.
that is, you don't take Fallout. It has to be lower than your stress level, and you have an 8, and it is an 8. So, you managed to not take Fallout from that.
my
Okay.
stress level is 3.
Great.
Okay, and you're at 3, Sam?
Yeah.
How did you end up at 3? You were at 0
Because he
before.
took stress from this as well.
I was at
Yeah.
0. I got 5, but I
Oh,
have 2 resist
right.
to mine.
I forgot about the 5. Okay.
Are you? And you roll the Fallout.
I roll the Fallout. 7. You're fine.
Yes.
Okay. It's up to you. I mean, like, I don't want to like have to or like ask you to like leave this for me to resolve this with Kelvy. So, Sam, you're welcome to, or if you don't want to know, you're welcome to take out your headphones and we'll signal when I'm done resolving.
Should we all take out our headphones?
Yeah, I mean, like Andrew
Let's
deafened.
do it.
All right, so
Oh.
if you want to, take out your headphones. Deafen.
Let me remember how to deafen. Sorry.
Um,
Where's deafen on here?
you can. Oh,
I only
whatever.
see mute.
Well, just take your headphones out, and I will gesture when you're ready to come back.
Okay, give me 2 seconds. Sorry.
Ava, are you?
Failing. I'll just take off my headphones.
Okay. All right, Kelvy. You feel as this intense stress of trying to resist this. You are sweating and shaking with the intensity of that. And Rick has his hands on your face, and is chanting, is talking through this experience for you. And you feel this calmness come over you as a new devotion is takes a forefront in your mind, and the devotion that starts to grow in you is one that burns in a way you weren't expecting. You've been a minister for some time now. You know what it is to want to go to extreme lengths for the sake of the drow. And as you close your eyes and as this kind of connection between you and Rick kind of reaches its peak, you, with your eyes closed, see not the dark side of the moon, but a blood red moon. And instead of conversion to Limier, or to Lombre, the hidden mistress, you feel a complete and utter devotion take over to Lekole, the face of the moon that is devoted to vengeance and fury and the destruction of the High Elves at all costs. And you weren't expecting this. Nobody seems to have caught on that something changed with Rick like that. And as you and he kind of back away from each other, you see him collapse from the stress of doing this ritual. And it hurts you too, but the drive, to like do what Vis wants is burned out of you in a painful way by the drive to destroy and take vengeance upon those who have wronged you and your kind. And
Interesting.
your devotion, the conversion process was successful, and your conversion was to Lekole, the blood red moon.
Sure.
Shall we invite the others back?
Please. Yeah.
I'm back. Hello. Welcome back, everybody.
Oh boy. Oh
We
boy.
were
Something
on
happened.
Cat
Hi.
Cam.
We were watching
Hello,
a lot
hi.
of fun stuff. We were watching Cat Cam, so I
Cat
didn't notice.
Cam.
Yeah.
POV, you are petting a cat.
We
I was
didn't
trying to
notice
be very
Calvin's
distracting
stress
for all of us.
expression at all.
Kitty.
Kitty.
I'm a cat.
I'm
How
so
you doing,
mad.
Kelby?
All
Oh
right.
no, he
so,
lets me do whatever the fuck I want to him.
Yeah. So Sam, you or Rick, this process leaves you far more than the process with Faisal did. Leaves you
Yeah.
in pain,
Didn't the
breathless.
process with Faisal literally kill him? like
This is worse.
Well, that's true. Let me amend what I said. It does
Literally die and find a
You
new
don't really
god.
die
I
and come
took
back this
3
time, I
mind
guess.
stress. The last one fucking killed me.
You're
You took
Thanos
5 mind
snapped
stress,
away.
didn't you, this time? Yeah, you took 5, which is why I was saying that, because I think...
But
But
you had
I had a
resistance, but-
resistant too, so I literally
you
only
took
got
3. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. You're totally right. Let me rephrase what I mean. It feels different to do this, I guess, is what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
part of the sensation of doing this conversion right is, as you're attempting it, you don't know how successful or not it was. As you're attempting it, you feel the presence of Lekole watching, observing, and almost like her hand has reached into this, like it's a psychic connection that ultimately does this, right? And like at the last minute, and you don't know what it means, you don't know if it was successful. It's almost like her hands are coming into your psychic vision, that is like you and Kelvy's mind kind of connected, and then you kind of snap out of it and come to like kind of panting a little bit in pain, but otherwise fine. And Kelvy sits before you.
Oh no.
Wow.
Kelvy?
Yeah.
How we doing? Do you feel like you need to go take a trip to the heart?
I'd like my gun back.
Don't do it.
And why might that be?
There's work to be done.
I remove my red crystals from my vest, from my Lyjan robes.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of work?
Do I recognize the glow?
Yes.
I think you know. I think we've shown too much mercy.
I agree. I am making my way up to the Faisal estate tonight. I would prefer to go alone, but I can meet you afterwards. I might need your help.
I'll be waiting at Harmonious properties. We can talk there. Barnabas, you're free to join.
Barnabas just like trying to be your friend, and he's just like, what's going on? It's I thought we were done up there.
Well, we're just getting started.
Didn't your crystals used to be different?
For the record, I totally didn't know Barnabas was in the room with us.
I'm here to be totally cool friends with Kelvy, right? So I'm just always at his side. I'm just yes-anding Tyler here, so I'm like, sure.
I think it's also within reason, like, if you wanted to, like, have attempted to sneak it, you could roll a sneak to show Kelvy the crystals. And not show Barnabas.
Sees all.
Yeah, I would like to have done that.
Sneak and low society.
To be fair, Barnabas
religion.
probably doesn't know fuck all
That's
about
true.
your religion or the things. It would just, he would be like, I noticed the color's different. That's weird.
Interesting.
Anyway, like, he's not like, it's a different god. He doesn't know fuck all about your god. Like, he only cares about his own.
Tell him it's a mood stone.
He'd be like, I heard the kids are doing those things these days.
Red is the mood of vengeance, I suppose.
So, what are... Well, I mean, I can accompany you if you need me. I just, what do we need it for?
Murder. I'm not there.
Bob,
Sorry.
I'm gonna be blunt. Having a cleanup crew is always nice, and you're real good at killing people. So,
well, I don't generally kill without reason. It's not really in my religion.
You'll have plenty of reason. We're not just gonna butcher. We're gonna make a list.
Barnabas is uncomfortable.
Good for knowing your boundaries, Barnabas.
You guys, we accomplished something pretty huge, and you're not seeming to be happy with it, and you kind of seem more angry than before. Derelictus is saved. It's great. For now.
Our apartment is safe.
Fair.
For now. There's still the cracks. There's still the omnipresent pressure of the...
I'm proficient in all things occult now. I'm like a real cool occult dude, so I can really help with those cracks.
You know, and this is me just thinking it would be kind of useful if Barnabas was up with Kelvy, you know, for my part A scene. So I could deliver the dagger to Barnabas. But
now Barnabas and Rachel are confused.
It's okay. Yeah.
The boulder doesn't understand.
I get that reference now.
Yeah. It's conflicted. That's what he says.
So,
yes.
Both, like, I have a bond with Rick. Like, I know I know the things that he went through, and I specifically helped him to overcome it at the time. Does this feel similar to that time? Like, do I feel like this is connected, or is it just because Rachel knows that you're looking for those things, but does Barnabas get like a sense of like your feelings of whatever are similarly resonant with that? Or is he just totally like, what are you guys doing? You know?
I do want to intervene before Sam answers and just point out that in whatever answer you give, Sam, to bear in mind that that the bond that Barnabas had with Rick was a past life of Rick. And
Oh.
I'm not saying that like necessarily Barnabas knows
Well,
that something's
fuck.
like gone or whatever, but I think this might be an opportunity, or you know, you play that how you want, I guess is. But I just want to kind of put that on the
Yeah,
table.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was absolutely on that page. Barnabas, like, I understand that things are a little ostensibly complicated right now, but
You know, I'm old and I don't do well with change, right?
I know. It's fine. But Calvi and I have a bit of our own little agenda, and you're welcome to join us. It's for the ministry, of course, for the clutch, for the drow. By all means, join us. But know that, much like before, it's going to potentially put you in harm's way. And right now we're supposed to keep a low profile. And so the fewer that are aware, the better.
In the interest of not playing a scene that isn't really going to get us to like a new plot point or something, because we are ultimately like concluding this.
Yeah.
You know,
I just want to keep going.
I can tell, I can feel it. I guess like just kind of knowing like, you know, Rachel, like, would Barnabas go or not? And then kind of we'll give Sam and Kelvy a chance to kind of finish up. And
Yeah.
then Ava, just remind me, was there another thing that Minrai needed to do? remember
Yeah,
if there was like a
aside from setting up for the cracks to be dealt with and explaining everything to Marguerite and maybe making sure that she has everything necessary and helping with that if possible, I think she wants to contact the ministry and ask for like a new post basically, and just basically be like, I think this is kind of her backstory before she like commits to being like a commando style, like my life for the ministry, for the drow kind of like revolutionary person.
Cool. Okay.
So I think that's kind of where she's headed. So you know, however that works out.
All right, so let's do.
I feel like if Barnabas thinks that it's what, like I said, Barnabas is trying to befriend Kelvy and get to know him better, and because part of it is Barnabas wants Kelvy to trust him and like him when the cure is eventually found, and Barnabas thinks, of course, there will be a cure. When the cure is eventually found, he wants Kelvy to like and trust him enough that he will take it. So I think that if the way that Kelvy presents it is like, this would really be a great thing and I would like for you to be along with us, then I think, and if also it's presented as it's for the ministry, then I feel like Barnabas would go along with him. Because also he's kind of concerned as to why everybody's acting real fucking weird all of a sudden.
And also, like, you know, we could throw in there that in a sense, Rick did cure Kelvy of his viscant desires.
Yeah, so the infection still exists, right?
Does that mean you were successful? We don't know that, right?
I think
I
we
think
know
I was
exactly what
successful.
happened
Now-
based
I-
off
I-
of
Okay.
context.
I'm still just saying we're all just making inferences.
Yeah, the I think so one thing to kind of mechanically kind of point out, Kelvy, I would say the permanently weird ongoing fallout is stricken from the record. That is no longer a thing, as well as the paranoia
Permanently
that Rick
vengeful now.
had. I don't know if we already did that or not, but Rick's paranoia is gone.
We hadn't, but yeah.
And yeah, okay, so the three of you make your way up Spire. You know, I think, you know, for obvious reasons, Rick would not want Barnabas to go in to see him get these names and stuff, because
Barnabas would not want to go to hang out in any part of Faisal's shit anyway.
Yeah. So then we'll say like the scene stands. Rick has the opportunity to hand off the arcane focus for Barnabas to, or occult focus, D&D talk
Yeah.
getting in there, to take back down Spire to Minrai, who then is able to kind of,
Oh,
with,
that's what that was for. Okay, Rachel's not
Yeah.
confused anymore. Sorry.
Yeah.
Wasn't connecting the dots, and I was like, why would I want a fucking dagger?
Yeah,
Okay,
I was
sorry.
confused on that too, but no, really.
Yeah.
Got
So the arcane focus, which was one of the hardest things to find, Hennis. Well, never mind. I was gonna say Hennis's kind of like drugs connection can get you the psychedelics, but Hennis ain't there, so sure can't.
He just lit
Lesbians.
Kelby.
The lesbians.
Yeah.
No, the lesbian drug dealers.
Oh,
Kelby's
lesbian
skin.
drug dealers.
The lesbian drug dealers moved out. That was the
I can
whole-
Lick
talk right
Kelvy.
now.
What?
Lick,
Just
we'll
lick
Just
lick
lick
Kelvy.
Kelvy.
Lick
We'll just lick
Kelby.
Kelby.
Everyone's dying for Kelby to get
You
licked.
can only fix the cracks if you're nasty.
That's cool.
Yeah. I think we might kind of leave the cracks being fixed them like as an event to like and then like a future date kind of thing of like that seems like it's its own kind of story to me. So but I think that all the pieces are in place, all the mechanics are in where they're needed for you to attempt that. And Sam, what your last scene?
Yeah. So I'm gonna paint a little bit of a picture here. As the days go by, names get checked off. And when I start recognizing that things are getting a little too hot, perhaps people are a little too on my tail, Rick knows that it's time for the nuclear option. Was I successful in locating the people that were responsible for Morphin's death? Can you kind of just give me? Do I do a luck roll for that?
No, I think that given the kind of open-ended time frame of you have the means and the opportunity now to spend the time to hunt these people. And I think that, also, finding contacts within the Vigilites who are devoted, of course, to Lekole, people, you have a network to leverage and other things like that, as you're kind of moving your way through this and getting help from, and you lay low from time to time with the Vigilites and things like that, ultimately, yeah, you're able to track down like the actual people, the people who made the call, right, to go to your bar, right, Malak and Snack, or and to go to bars like it, places like it that served and hosted this kind of cultural and leisure activity for the drow, and start stamping it out violently. Yeah, you find them.
Good. Yeah, I think after he's probably caused a bit of a stir at that point.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you would have like reputation stress up to or shadow stress, I guess, up to like max, basically.
Good thing I resist shit now. Yeah, so I think Rick has one last card to play. And he heads to the Basilica, where he knows Seedling. What was his name in full?
Many
Did anyone write?
Seedling,
It was many the Stevelings, I think was what we came up with.
Many the seedlings.
It's in
Many
the
the
book.
seedlings.
So when you say came up with, I just want you to know, read from the book.
Well, but also then Chelsea deemed it many the Stevelings
Oh,
because
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, Rick heads to the basilica and presumably he's able to kind of at least get a sense of where in this building many of the Stevelings is presiding. And he begins an incantation. The spell that he's casting right now is Form of the Goddess. Rick starts to, in a very dissimilar sense to Marguerite, he begins to grow some extra arms too. Not only does he do that, but he also grows in height. He begins to tower, and his extra arms and his body become fury incarnate, a massive fiery, like effectively Shiva, destroyer of worlds, levels of horror. And it takes only about a minute for Rick to turn from Rick into the form of the goddess, Lakole herself. And in this particular form, each of my many arms is clutching a massively long sword, about the size of one of our apartments. And I would like to just say a few words. I've kind of burst out from this basilica, and hopefully I would have been able to spot a pesky little elf here or two. Worshippers of all of you false gods, bow and tremble before Lakole, the goddess of fury. Worship me and no other. And then I just swipe and hopefully just destroy the basilica behind me, whatever's left of it. The transformation lasts until the end of the current situation, at which point I must take immediate severe blood fallout.
Jeez.
Wow.
So my hope in doing this is to just completely uproot as much as I can in one foul swoop. Destroy the highest ranking elf, cause chaos.
Are we going to be able to have a season 2 of Spire, or is he going to destroy the infrastructure of Spire right here?
Yeah. Go ahead.
And then whenever the situation's over, which is probably me just toppling the basilica, the form of the goddess vanishes, and I can roll to see what my severe blood fallout's gonna be, but I'm pretty sure I'm dead.
Yeah. So so you remember, just because you're in the form of the goddess doesn't mean people can't be attacking back, can't be attempting to defend, right? And so it essentially starts a battle, a bloodbath outside or among the basilica.
Yeah.
And you are dying. That is your severe blood fallout. And I'm going to choose for you from these options because only one of these things makes sense for you. Do something useful before you die and roll with mastery because it's the last thing you'll ever do. So this is your last action. And I think
As the form of the goddess.
your last action alive on this planet still, yes, we'll I'm gonna kind of wrap it up inside the form of the goddess if that's because I think it narratively is better that way. So like you're going down with this, this nuclear option essentially. And you have this one kind of like as the priests and the guards and the everybody are coming out and like occult and are mundane weaponry used to kind of try to bring you down is battering against you, and you're kind of slowly taking this like this beating until you are aware that like you have one action left in you, one last hurrah that will take you down. What do you want Rick's last hurrah to be?
Have I been successful in taking down Seedling?
This would be like, I mean, we're talking final form of the final boss type person here who has a lot of tricks up his sleeve too, divine and occult. So I would say he is in the fray. And you have done damage, but you are attacking him with his army, and you are a person granted in
He was able to form an army in a minute.
I mean, like, no, it's not like an army, but like we're talking like, you've kicked an anthill as opposed to, right? Yeah. So I mean, like, as much as like, Helvy, I see the hand.
Question, Rick, were you bringing backup to this shindig?
I don't think I was, because I knew that I was going to die, and I didn't.
That's fine. I was just curious.
I didn't want to bring like. I knew that I had this option that would cause a shit ton of damage. Yeah, I mean, if I can make one good strike against Seedling, I want it to mean something.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. So this will be fight with mastery, religion.
So that's fight with mastery. So I don't have that as a skill.
So then you get it essentially for this roll. So that'll be 3d10, assuming you have religion.
Okay, yeah. So 3d10. Okay.
And then does the form of the goddess give you any type of like fight specialty?
Yeah, it does. So each of my swords and all of my arms get D8 devastating weapons.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
And
so
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, 3d10. And I think that the since this is technically like, we're a little off script in terms of like it's supposed to be after you finish the form of the goddess that you take immediate blood fallout and all that. So like, I think that the other piece of this that I'm going to kind of like put in here is like, obviously like this is a person you would be rolling at difficulty against, but I'm waiving that in the sense that like you literally are kind of like Lekole incarnate at this moment. And so it's like the divine power against divine power kind of negates or cancels. So it'll just be a straight roll 3d10 as Rick's kind of final act here.
Oh, hope you get good rolls.
A 9 will do it. A 9 will do it. Rick, as you feel Lekole's power in you, it does not fade, but you feel your body being destroyed in this fight. more than you feel any type of like fading of power. And you know, like this is it, right? Like you can feel the divine fury coursing through you and through her divinity that has been channeled into your body. You can also sense a divine presence in many of the seedlings, right? This is the divine fury of two deities kind of at presence, at war with each other. And you take this, you know, like this is it, right? This is my one chance to like get him before he gets me. And you go for it. And yeah, you charge him, and Lekule's strength surges in you, and you kind of emit this blast of noise that is just fury raging through you. You see literal red, and as you stab into him with all of your weapons, his priests that always attend him, right? He's never by himself. He has guards, he has priests, they're trying to pull you off of him, and you are stuck on him, having impaled him, and both of you breathe your last breaths and collapse dead on the grounds of the Solar Basilica.
Fuck. Did Rick
And
just cancel Spire Season 2?
if we killed Trump today, would America get canceled? I mean,
He killed a bad bean.
what
but
did you say?
It was just a bad bean.
There's an FBI agent here at the door. I gotta go. But
Sam,
yeah,
that was
I
ridiculous.
Damn.
don't think Sam
In a
canceled
good
season
way.
2. I think Sam set the stage for a tumultuous
Fuck.
beginning to a season 2, as the anthill, not to overuse the metaphor, which has been used at least 3 times tonight, has been well and truly fully kicked, with a Crimson Vigilite essentially bombing the shit out of the Solar Basilica and taking down a huge entity.
Barnabas is very happy that it happened, but he is also extremely sad that Rick is dead.
Yeah, I mean, this is like way in the future,
when-
right? This is like well down the line.
This is a couple months down the line of Rick having been investigating and trying to, so this is a couple months.
Okay.
That none of you have seen Rick, by the way, in that couple months. Or Hennis, I think.
Yeah.
Barnabas has tried.
Kelly,
But,
what was the...
I was gonna say definitely. Well, hopefully with the help of Barnabas, because Barnabas is probably going to want to get in on this. But as soon as word would have reached us that a godlike clash would have occurred, kind of connecting the dots there that it was probably Rick, Kelby would want to go and search for the body to make sure that he could get put to rest. And if it was taken from the field, that's something that Kelby's going to want to follow up on for as long as he needs to follow up on it.
So we kind of see, like, as to kind of wrap this up, like we have this splintered now, fractured, partially missing party, right? That in the wake of your success saving the apartment complex, we have Hennis disappeared into Grist to fight the ghouls in their kind of expanding territory. We have Minrai spearheading the closing of the cracks in the apartment building before kind of moving on from the life that she pursued for many, many years of being a midwife. And Kelvy and Barnabas assuming Barnabas, you would go with Kelvy on this mission to find Rick's corpse, to find his body and try to save him. And yeah, and Rick, in a blaze of fury, serving the god who brought him back literally from death and gave him a few more months to carry out her will, gone. So with that, the stage is set for season 2, but the curtain closes on season 1.
Ooh, exciting.
So well done. So much love to you all, the players.
Well done, DM.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you. Such a somber episode. So many things that, like, after kind of the joyous feeling of the end of last episode, like, we fucking did it, that this one just kind of
know, right?
grabbed at us.
Minrise homeless.
Minrise homeless. Yeah, her, 7 sisters, where 3
You're gonna have to
brothers.
find the whole list now. Go for it.
Can I?
Mhm.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, why was Kelvy trying to put me to rest?
Because he's a brother.
Well, for one thing, Kelvy would first and foremost definitely try to bring you back because the fight's never over. But if he can't figure out how to do that, definitely want to put you to rest because becoming a ghost or an undead thing, make sure that you're eating his, sweet peas.
Barnabas would want to eat you to make sure that you get the proper send off. That's a gift he
Right.
gives to all of his friends.
Okay.
Here we
Yeah.
go. I found the family tree. Real nice.
Yeah, I have it.
Boy.
Here.
Yeah.
How many siblings and all right, so players, well done. If we haven't made tons of decisions about a season 2, but we do know that Andrew and Hennis, or any other player or character, will not be joining us again. So Andrew, thank you so much for bringing Hennis and your time and energy to this campaign. It was truly wonderful to get to play with you, and I know many of folk here have grown fond of you in this time, and of course my fondness only ever grows. So to you, fellow DM, and dear friend, thank you for joining us for season 1 of this campaign, and I know you'll be on with us next week to do kind of the goat's eye view as well. So
yeah, but I would love to return that to you. Thank you so much for putting this together. We all wanted to do stuff, but no one had any plans. Everyone just wanted someone else to do something first. So I appreciate you taking that initiative and that I got the chance to play with you guys. I had a great time.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to miss it.
Yeah. Well, we hope that we'll see you sometimes in chat, checking in on what's going on in your previous fantasy home. And Hennis, we'll every now and then we'll take a little peek into Grist and see how much progress Hennis has made taking down ghouls. Yeah. So next week you can find us here at this time. I think, did we say that we're starting at like 7 for Goat's Eye View next week? I think that might be the case. But anyway, I'll tell you all the players, and I'm sure Galway and the others in Helpful Goat will tell anyone who wants to watch about the details for that. But next week we're doing like a little Goat's Eye View to kind of debrief season 1 and kind of talk about our experience playing Spire as a brand new system that none of us have played before. I have never DM'd before. And so we'll talk about that, and you can submit questions in Goat's Eye View in the channel on Discord. So use !Discord to check that out. And join us if you are not already on the Helpful Goat Discord. And after that, the players and I will need to have a discussion first about what we want season 2 to look like. But I think we're hopeful that we'll kind of continue some variation of Spire into the future. So we'll keep you all posted as we make decisions. And that said, Spire crew, you say goodnight to our lovely friends for the last time for season 1. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thank you
Thanks for
being
being
with
here.
us. Yeah.
Good night.
All
Good
right.
night. One last time for the clutch.
For the clutch.
For the clutch!
All right. Bye, everybody.